Welcome, Level Uppers, to the Level Up Show, episode 177. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew. I make the show Midori. Of course, I'm tonight joined by the classy douchebag, Michael McLaughlin.
Hola.
We got my wife,
Mistress.
Mistress. And special, very special guest, we got Zac Eubank of Hyper RPG on the show. Welcome to the show, Zac.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm hot. It's very toasty here. So
You're from, is it
start
Kansas
sweating,
City,
I
or?
apologize. Originally,
Oh, okay.
originally from Arkansas, Missouri, but we're in LA now,
figured.
so it's a hot one in the valley today.
Yeah.
I figured, you know, you got to be in the heart of all that, it being LA. That makes sense for you guys. So I want to give a little backstory to some people here before we really get into the crux of the show. I've been, you know, frequenting all the different servers right now, like the Twitch partner help and all that kind of stuff. And Hyper RPG added me as a friend, and I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. Hyper RPG just added me as a friend. And I was like, you know what? I wonder if I were to message them if he would ever be interested in coming on the show. And literally 15 seconds later, Zac, is when you messaged me. And I was like, this is insane. I couldn't believe that you messaged me, because not only are you known for Hyper RPG, I mean, you have had tremendous success on Twitch even prior to that. And I kind of just wanted to give you a moment here to talk about your success story on Twitch.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it because every day is still like a grind, you know. So when I hear that, I'm like, really? Was it? Oh man, I guess I don't know. But yeah, I started off kind of back in the day with Greg Grunberg on Socialtron Live, and that ended up turning into the Attack. And then I started Geek and Sundry from the ground up and ran that for a good year, and then left my brother in charge, and then started up Hyper RPG, and we moved up to Seattle and started a studio up there. And then recently I came back to LA, and we still have a studio in Seattle too, and rehired my brother and all my old friends from Geek and Sundry, and kind of tried to reclaim our crew, and been just doing the grind, man, like everybody else, the day-to-day grind on Twitch.
Getting an XP.
That's something I didn't know. So your brother took over Geek and Sundry for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
I left him in charge for the next year, and then came back down here and ripped him away.
I could never imagine leaving my brother in charge of anything. So I can respect that a lot.
That's amazing. It's just crazy that, like, how did you even get started, though, like, wanting to live stream? And did you start on, like, Justin TV, or did you start on Twitch? Like, where did that start?
No, actually, it was at Greg Grunberg's studio. I got called to do photography for him for a charity drive, and his team over there, when he first started, was doing a charity drive on Twitch, and I had only heard of Twitch. I was mainly doing production work in Los Angeles, doing commercials and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff for the UCB and comedy community.
Right.
And just kept meeting kind of people that were talking about it, and then one of the guys on our channel, Iffy Wadiway, who's a comedian and stuff and avid gamer, invited me out to take pictures for this charity drive and work for them. And upon getting there, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I had worked a lot with tech and always trying to find new ways to push film and tech in interesting directions.
Right, yeah.
And started seeing all these cool opportunities to do like interactive live storytelling on Twitch. And so my brother and I have been trying to get to that point, starting off there, and just kind of each step trying to find new ways to do cool like live storytelling using kind of old storytelling standards, but more coming at it from that range. We're all big gamers here, but we're usually trying to do something like role playing and game stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I see most often when I watch Hyper RPG myself, and just like the amount of production that must go into that. I honestly can't imagine. We have one camera here, and that's it. I mean,
it looks good, man. It looks really good.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
like
we started 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, this is our basement.
This is our basement of our house in Jersey.
It was the first room to be done in our house.
This studio is our house too. So
wow.
We had a different studio up in Seattle, and I was like, you know, I kind of want to get back to working from home because then I can work all night and just walk
You don't
to
even
bed.
have to have pants on. Like if you drive to the studio without pants, it's a could be a problem.
Have pants on.
Right.
Definitely not right now.
That's awesome.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Lucky you, man.
Living the dream.
Well, first off, the follows are flowing in right now. Thank you so much for sharing the show, hosting us, and welcome to all the new viewers in the room. Very happy to have you. We are the Level Up Show. We are a gaming dedicated talk show. We're on every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and of course, we do variety streams throughout the week. So yeah, if you enjoy the stream tonight, and Zac brought you over, maybe hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/the Level Up Show. One thing that you might not know, Zac, that is really cool right now for us. We have that sub goal of 80 in the corner. Twitch actually contacted us, and they said if we get to 80 subs, they're going to do a partner spotlight for us on the front page.
Oh, cool. That's
for
awesome.
a week.
So close.
So
how far away are you?
We are 4 subs away.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to happen in the next 5 minutes.
If it does,
We're gonna freak out.
we might freak.
You know what though?
Challenging you. 5 minutes.
Oh boy.
Challenge, guys, you're challenged.
Pick up that challenge. I will say that I noticed our follower count is above a certain number.
It is over 9,000.
Over 9,000.
Yes, it is. I did celebrate that little number.
Oh,
during
did
my
you? I
riding
didn't see
stream.
it.
Yes, I did. I put on the Goku hair and everything. I had power level over 9,000. I was pretty happy about that.
Good.
Good.
I don't want to like overtalk anyone. Overspeak, is that the correct word?
Whatever you want to go with.
Overshadow?
Yeah.
I have 2 questions for Zach. Number 1, where did you get that awesome headset? I love it.
It's a Corsair. It's the Void Corsair. They throw us some headsets every once in a while and say, "Hey, wear this." And we're like, "Okay, yeah, these are great." So
Look
How
good
comfortable
that
is it, though?
it's great because it's big enough that it doesn't touch my ears at all. So my
Yes.
ears are like, that's what I like because
Big-
after wearing them for hours, they hurt. So
Because
No,
when
like
I
that.
wear Andrew's earphones, they make indents in my hair.
Yeah.
And they hurt my ears.
Yeah, I had that
looks
same
incredible.
problem.
And look, he can talk into it, and he doesn't have
He
to
can
have
talk
like
into it.
the microphone like very.
No, it's a very nice. I wish that we were at that point where people could
Where
just throw
throwing
stuff at us.
us.
And like, wear this. Like, sure, totally. I'll wear anything you throw at me.
You'll get there. You'll get there. It took us a long time too. It's funny how difficult it can be because when I was doing stuff with Greg Grunberg and at Geek and Sundry, even though we love Felicia to death, but she hardly ever was at the channel. Like she would stop
Right.
every once in a while for like 5 minutes and be like hi and say something inappropriate and leave. But the
That's about
for
right.
the most part, just having their names to be able to contact people, I'm like, oh yeah, this thing with Felicia, oh whatever you want. And the second we started a new company and we're like all these contacts we used to have and we hit them up, they're like, cool, who are you working with now? And like, oh, we're doing this on our own. And they're like, I don't know.
Well, about that.
I don't know.
Good
When you
luck,
get
guys.
When you get some celebrities attached, let us know. And I'm like,
Right.
never again. But it's taken a long time. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, it's not an easy thing. I think a lot of people jump on Twitch and they just think they see these people making all this money on Twitch and they think it's going to be easy. It's so much work to try and to break through on Twitch, especially.
Look what you're doing.
Yeah, Zach, look what you're doing. You're bringing in the subs. I saw Hyper RPG just sub too. Thank you so much. Oh my god.
That's right. That's right.
We're so
you guys-
grateful.
we're gonna hit it. You're gonna hit it.
Oh my god.
I think we might have
We did
already
hit
hit
it.
it.
We actually
Actually,
did hit
I think
it.
we did hit it. I don't know what to do right now. I'm kind of ready
What
to
do you mean?
freak
How
out.
do you know if you hit it?
Because
Well, someone checked a second ago. It said 79, then someone subbed right after that. So I would assume that means 80.
I would assume we are at 80 right now.
But it's not
If I
official.
can
though.
math.
It has to be official.
Right.
It'll
No,
be
you're right.
official any second. It'll pop up there. But we
What was our
gotta
last one?
do some wheel
5,000
spins too.
followers?
Wait, I have another question for Zach.
Okay, go ahead. I'll look
Yes,
at what the
what do you
subs
got?
were.
Zach, what is in your mug?
Lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee.
I
That's
wish I liked coffee. It would have helped me
Lifeblood.
after I had my child.
lifeblood. We run off. You have to. I
So,
know, I know it's late, but got a
You're-
long
I do the
night
same
You're
ahead.
thing,
3
man. I
hours
just had a
behind
cup of
us. Like,
coffee a little while
what's
ago.
your normal bedtime, Zach?
Oh, 3 a.m.
Oh
Usually.
my god,
I
you're
like
like
it.
him.
Oh, you're just like me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, 3 a.m. Get back up to work every day. 8 a.m.
boy.
Usually I'll watch something to fall asleep to. Like we'll watch. We'll go through the run of Amazon or Netflix shows and.
Friends,
Ooh.
friends.
No, wait, no, we gotta find out what you're watching right now. What are you watching right now?
Well, I mean it's the summer, so Twin Peaks. But that's
Nice.
just finished up American Gods. I guess Castlevania just came out, so we were catching up on that last night.
Who is we?
My fiance and I, Malika. She works here at the
Yes!
channel a lot. So
Another thing I didn't know. I knew Malika, but I did not know that she was your fiance.
Wow.
Yeah. So we usually try to catch up on shows at night to resemble some sort of normal life a little bit and be in touch with what's going on in the world.
I feel ya.
That's very
Well,
cool.
congratulations. Was that a recent engagement or has it been a while? Or
When did we? It was on her birthday, so March. It was in March.
oh,
Not too long.
congratulations.
No, thank you.
Very cool. We're actually going to do some of those wheel spins I was telling you about.
Let's
Zach.
do it.
All right.
do
So
it.
first up, before the show even started, we got a resub from Alex, a longtime viewer of
Alex
us, and
Bustos?
Alex Bustos, longtime supporter
Can't
of
forget
the
him.
Level Up show. So we're going to give him a wheel spin, and maybe we'll give Zach something here. No,
Yes.
Alex, you get to suggest an audio hook for the show.
Cool.
So whisper that at me, and I will put that together for you
That's the
following
best
the
one.
show. Audio
That's
hooks
what
are the
Guitar
best.
Freak did bits.
gonna steal this. Where'd you get that wheel?
Okay, so
Did you make it? Who made it?
No, it's very simple. It's called wheeldecide.com. Wheel meaning WHEEL. Decide.com. And I just copy and paste the link into here. I use a color key to get rid of the black behind it and all that, and that's the wheel. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do the physical wheels, and I was like, nah, no way.
I don't want that giant thing.
We have a physical one, and I'm like, nope, stealing this.
No more.
Emailing it to my
is Hyper
producer,
RPG
right?
taking something from us right now?
Oh yeah.
Holy shit. All right,
Definitely.
next up. Who do we have after that?
Guitar Freak was next.
Guitar Freak did a bit cheer.
Yes.
Thank you so much to Guitar Freak. Another wheel spin here. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for support, especially
Twitch
with
has
Zac
like
on the
its
show.
own language.
All right, this is a good one. So this one utilizes you, Zac.
Okay.
We need to find out what your one true obsession is, and that doesn't have to be gaming related. It can be anything. You can go dark with us if you want here. We need to know your one true obsession.
Oh, it's an easy one. It's definitely comic books.
Okay,
Wow.
nice.
Definitely comic books. It's kind of dark, I guess, because of
how much money goes into it.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, not so much anymore. Luckily, we have a big partnership with Valiant Comic Books, so they hook us up and send us the books. So then I'm just like, oh yes, I don't have to buy them anymore.
Right.
But I don't. I get like press copies from DC and Boom and stuff. Marvel. So there was a time where I'd been subscribed to Marvel. Because when I lived out in the middle of nowhere, there were no comic book stores. So
right.
I would actually have the old school subscriptions, where they came in the package and you had to open them up. And I'd been subscribed to Spider-Man since I was like 12. And, I just cut off my Marvel pulls in November of last year.
Wow.
I finally pulled the plug. I'm done with Marvel for now. I might come back to it later, but for now I'm done. Because I've got so many other good things to read between Valiant and Image and Boom and everyone else.
Are you all digital now, Zac, or do you still do physical?
I still do physical for the books that I really want to support the creators on, and it's just something about having that hard copy in my hands to save and put in a box in the closet that Malika can yell at me every time we move because we have hundreds of pounds of them. But I'm mainly digital now, just because of the ease of being able to do it quickly. If I'm if I'm sitting in the car somewhere or just in between emails, picking up the book really quick, checking it out.
Right.
That's cool.
But it's definitely my big obsession in a bad way.
Kristen's raising her hand. She wants to ask you something.
What would you do?
Yeah.
What would you do if there was a fire? Do you have protection around these?
No, and I'd be fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Would you ever sell?
Just let it all burn.
Would you ever sell all of your physical stuff? Because I've got a cousin who has
I do all the time.
thousands.
I'm one of those people that doesn't really hold attachments to things. So when something like if I'm hurting for money, I'll go through every digital every collectible thing I have and just start selling that shit. Just like get it out of here. It's not worth not being able to pay my bills. But
as a gamer as well, do you sell your games?
All the time.
Thank you. I get so much crap all the time
totally
for
cool
keeping my games.
No, that's totally cool, man. I'm cool with you selling your games. I get it. That's fine. I can't do it for some reason. I have a very hard time letting go of games, especially now that I'm digital. So that's the end of that.
Yeah.
But even with physical stuff, I have pretty much everything I've ever bought physically it's not even so much that I don't want to like do a disservice to the developer or anything like that. It's just this weird attachment thing that I have where I can't.
Right.
I'm like a hoarder, I guess, when it comes to video games, and I just have a very hard time.
I'm kind of the opposite. We move a lot for work, and I think gear-wise, I collect gear because I never know what company I'm gonna do next that needs equipment. But when it comes to like collectibles and stuff like that, we just get rid of them. And
I like that. I really do.
I almost miss having physical copies of everything so I can sell them later. Now I mainly have only digital stuff, and then I'm like, man, where'd all that money go? Can I get any of that back? No, I can't, because it's all like on a hard drive and I can't sell them to a game store somewhere.
Right.
I miss being able to do that, being like in a real pinch to pay a bill and running down to Hastings and selling every video game I own and then crying about it for a month.
Right.
That's cool. So that is your obsession, and conveniently for your sub from Hyper RPG, the wheel has chosen an origin story. And what that means is we need to know how you got started into gaming. Like, what was your first console? How did you get it? What was your first game?
Pong was my first console.
Really?
What is Pong?
You don't wait a second.
Hold up. Wait. It's Zac. This is an issue.
Was I born
No,
for
so-
this?
No, but still,
I
come
mean,
on.
If I wasn't
Definitely
born,
not.
then how would I know?
It's just the
It's
two little
cemented
sliders
games.
with the ball bouncing.
You know
in
what Pong
between.
is.
Oh, okay.
There we
Yeah,
go.
you've
Okay.
probably seen it before, but you've never touched it because it probably wouldn't have worked or had any reason to ever touch it. But my mom had Pong, and when I was like 3, we started playing Pong and got really into it. And then we had the NES, you know, right when it came out. And I didn't realize for years until I like really worked hard on remembering that my mother was the gamer in the family, because she kind of hid it from us, where she would say she was going to go exercise in the basement, and we found out years later what she was doing was going down there and trying to beat Super Mario Brothers and
She's
not
exercising
actually,
her
Oh my
thumbs.
gosh, she's my
Yeah.
hero.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
it was hilarious.
Wait, so was she
that-
ashamed of this?
Well, because my dad was buying her all this exercise equipment to feed her, saying that she was exercising, but she was embarrassed. She was too embarrassed to exercise in front of people. So we found out she was just down there playing video games and locking the door and saying she was exercising, but in
That
reality
is
she was just trying to
amazing.
beat
Wow.
Super Mario.
Seriously incredible.
That's so cool.
I
I
love that.
love
Let me
that.
ask you this, Zach. Have you ever heard of the TurboGrafx 16?
Hero.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because that was my first console, which of course
Awesome.
was decimated by the Super Nintendo.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Pause the video here in the background. That was my first console,
Mhm.
and everybody just makes fun of it. But I have got the best memories of that thing because that's what got me started. You know, I was like 4 years
Oh,
old
yeah.
playing Bonk's Adventure, and
4?
to me, yeah, probably, yeah, like 4 years old. I want to say is when I started. But you know that nobody remembers it except you, clearly. So at least somebody does. I'm glad
Oh,
that
yeah.
I got somebody that remembers.
I had a lot of the older stuff. My uncle, even though we lived out in the middle of nowhere, my uncle was one of the developers over at Hewlett Packard. So he and my other uncle
HP.
was
Ooh.
yeah at HP back in the day, and I had another uncle who was in tech. So even though my parents didn't really have anything to do with it, and we lived out in the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere, every time my uncles would come over, they would bring some new piece of tech over to show off, and we'd have a good time with it. And so we did a lot more PC gaming when I was growing up. I think after the NES, we didn't get a Super Nintendo until I was in high school. And after that, we never got like an N64 or PlayStation or anything. We just stuck with PC gaming after that. You know, the second
Right.
after the NES came out, then it was like, all right, let's go PC. And first on the PC, it was like Number Crunchers and old DOS, you know, Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade. You know, Click Adventure was the one we played the most, but then just kept
That's
going
great.
PC gaming from there.
That's cool.
Awesome.
We're gonna do another wheel spin. You weren't lying, man. The subs came in.
Do it.
This one's for Chum Chum Jim, I want to say. It might be one
Oh,
of you
nice.
guys.
Yeah, oh yeah, Chum Chum.
Chum Chum.
Oh, chum.
Okay, so Chum Chum
boy.
got video game 20 questions. Okay, so what this means is that, Zach, you need to come up with a video game that you feel is, you know, somewhat difficult to guess, but not so difficult that we have no chance at guessing it. And then we have 20 questions to figure out what that video game is.
Oh god, damn it. Oh shit. Oh man, you put me on the spot with a video game right now.
Don't go too difficult.
Well, I
man.
was gonna say we can
Well,
spin the wheel again.
or-
Go to the next
Oh,
thing.
Or
yeah.
if he prefers, you can be the one to do that, and he can guess what it is,
Yeah, that's fine too
if you prefer.
if you want to go with that.
Let's go for that because I've
Okay.
only been playing really obscure indie games right now, and I know my brain's just gonna go into that zone, and I'd be like, how do I even describe this
We
crap?
got you. We got you.
That's fine. Okay, let me get some rules from you here. Are you okay with us going back to like old school games, or do you want to keep it current?
Oh, you can go back to old school and embarrass me. I'm fine with that.
I got one.
I don't want to embarrass the guy.
No, I
Oh,
got
you
one.
Can, no,
I got
you
an
can
easy
do
one.
that. Like I said, I missed out on everything Super
Yeah, whisper it to
Nintendo,
me.
everything N64.
Super
so-
Nintendo.
Wait, he
I
said he
just-
missed out on everything Super Nintendo and N64, so we
So-
probably don't want to do something
No,
like
but
that.
Yeah,
I've
that's fine.
probably
Yeah.
heard of them, and I've probably played them on emulators since then. So it's a good challenge.
Okay, is that an actual video game or is that a?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
For some reason, I remember that being like a
No.
mascot, and that's
No.
it. Okay, I feel like that might be a little too difficult. I'll be
No,
honest
no,
with
I
you.
don't know. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Do it.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
I like this. I like that. We're
I
gonna
mean,
do it.
you're gonna have to answer these questions because I
That's fine.
clearly don't know as
Then
much about.
don't touch it.
All right, Zach, you're going with Mike here because honestly, I know this game, but I don't know that much about it. So this is between you and Mike.
Peasant.
All right, Mike.
Let's go.
Lay it on me. Lay it on me.
Well, you get to ask the questions.
Yeah, it's
Zach,
your
and
questions, bud.
He's going to tell you yes or no, and then based on
Oh,
that,
gotcha,
you have
gotcha.
20 questions to figure out.
Yeah.
What
Well,
the
he
game
already
is.
gave me a huge hint by saying that he thinks it's a mascot. Did this have anything
Mm-hmm.
to do with Domino's Pizza?
No.
Okay. All right. That's my first one there.
Someone count for me.
I will
All right,
count.
that was one. That was one. Was it on the Super Nintendo?
No.
Was it on the N64?
No.
Okay. Okay. Regular Nintendo?
No.
Son of a bitch.
I depleted
Okay.
his resources.
Well, I'm going to keep going through the consoles until we get there. Is it PlayStation?
Nope.
Oh, now you're really getting me here. Okay. All right. If you're saying something mascot, that sounds like something super obscure and weird. So, was it something on Sega Dreamcast?
No.
Shit.
What was this on? Even I'm kind of confused right now.
Get out of here.
Okay.
It was pre-2005. Does that help?
Was it on Xbox?
No.
Okay.
The heck? Was it Duck Hunt?
2005.
I like how someone said the Burger King game. That was actually one of the things I thought of when I saw that this was going to be
I would have
thing.
guessed that one. We played that a shit ton in college.
Did you? I love that. It was so weirdly bad.
Yeah, it was weird bad. Really
You're
bad.
at 7 questions, Zach.
Seven questions, huh? Okay, okay. Well, I'm just going to keep going. Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay. Sega Genesis. Ooh, I'm keep going back to that, him thinking it was a mascot, because that's like a huge clue. Huge clue.
Jerk.
I feel like I got a bone here.
If it wasn't Domino's, I'm trying to think of the other companies that put out video games with like brand in between kind of marketing.
I want to throw him another bone here. Let me ask you this, Mike. Do you
it.
feel like I'm doing him a disservice by pushing him as a mascot?
Yes.
Okay.
A disservice? Yeah.
So I wouldn't focus too much on that, Zach.
Okay. Is it a
I
platformer?
barely remember that. Yes. It is.
So side-scrolling platformer?
Side-scrolling platformer. There could be another title for it as well, but yes.
Another title for it as well? Okay.
Yeah,
Another genre?
Yeah, another genre.
Okay.
Okay.
9.
Could be another genre outside of side-scroller. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Did that person get it right?
You're such an asshole for doing this, Mike.
Why,
You're
dude?
such an asshole.
It's a good one.
Getting that coffee. He needs his lifeblood.
I know, right?
Grab the tequila cup.
Okay. We need to start going. Was the lead character male?
Yes.
Okay. Your hesitation there. Was the lead character alien?
No.
Okay.
We have a lot of
Okay.
guesses going
That's
on
10.
in the chat.
That's 10.
I know. So you're saying
You're
he's
halfway.
not. You're confused on whether or not to say he's male or the character's male, and confused and hesitation on whether or not it's alien.
So the character's not really human, is what you're saying.
Yeah, character's not human.
I'll give you that.
But-
It's definitely not human. He's only halfway through. I mean,
He's
got a
got
good
10
amount of
questions left. He's fine. He's got 10 questions.
Oh, I know,
He can
because
do
my
this.
first inclination is to think something like Earthworm Jim, but that was also on Super Nintendo.
Exactly. Yep. So forget all of those.
That's good that you kind of did some negation there through remembering that Super Nintendo is not a console this is on. That was very
Use
good.
Google.
I'm impressed.
He's allowed to use Google,
He's
right?
allowed to use Google. Yeah, sure.
Cheaters.
If I'm gonna get embarrassed, I'm gonna get embarrassed.
I'm gonna do it the right
That's what I
way.
said. He could,
Yeah.
also, he could have
While
lifelines.
you think on that, I want to spin the next wheel
He could
because
have-
we got
Yeah,
another
you do
one
that,
from,
you do that,
from
'cause-
Silent Killer. Silent Killer. This one's for you. Zach is trying to figure out
Did you spin for Brad?
this. He's coming
Not
up.
yet.
He's at the very end. Oh man, we're getting all of the ones that are questioning you. So we got another one for you after this.
You son of a bitch.
VIP.
Okay, so not an alien, is male,
Ish.
ish. Okay.
Because it's not really human.
Right.
But
Maybe-
yes,
maybe
I would
I
say
should
male.
start-
Yes.
Maybe I should start going for like primary colors, because in old games, most characters were at least one primary color.
There we
Was
go.
the character primarily red,
No. It
blue?
was on spot. Nope. Not Sonic.
12. Do you want to keep doing colors?
Either. Yes, he should.
No,
You
no.
think
Yeah.
it will... No. All right.
Well, because I mean, there's only one primary color left, so I don't need to ask. Unless it's secondary color, and then it's gonna be like, oh, son of a bitch.
I feel like I would help him.
Is the main character of the series, okay, not necessarily the playable character, is the game itself marketed as multiple characters?
No.
So it's a singular character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
13.
That's 13, yep.
Son of a bitch, this is way tougher than I thought it would be.
That's because Mike went so obscure.
I hope
This is
it's
not that obscure.
I
Is
hope
that
it's
it?
one of those things
Yes.
when you say what it is, I'm going to be like, ah!
I think someone guessed that in the chat.
Did somebody really guess that?
I think
I'm not
so.
confirming nor denying this.
Wow, okay.
I'm gonna try and find that.
Well, we're not going to say if somebody did or didn't, but somebody might have guessed it in the chat.
They did.
Someone did. I think
They did. Somebody did guess it in the chat.
Did the character have a weapon?
I mean, yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
based off
yeah.
the image
There,
I'm looking
there
at
is
right now, I would say
weapons
yes.
are being used in various forms.
Shit.
It's at 14.
Okay.
Zach, ask me if he picked up anything.
If he picked up anything? Did he pick up anything?
No.
What does that even mean?
Well, he's saying about weapons. I don't want him to think that he's like finding guns on the ground and crap.
Okay.
Right.
So
He's
what
not.
you're saying that is his weapons are attached to him, is what
Yes.
you're trying to say.
There we go.
Right.
Hint.
Yeah. Weapons are attached to him. Is he a robot?
Yes.
Okay. He's a robot.
At 16.
Right. He's not red or blue. But some of those old video games would go for white because of the contrast on 16-bit.
Well, Genesis had that. What's it called? What do they call it with the Genesis? The,
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
HDR gaming, man. When you compare it to Super Nintendo,
yeah, exactly. It's leaps and bounds ahead, so you never know. Could be fuchsia for all you know.
okay.
He's really getting pressed. I didn't think it was actually going to be this bad, though.
Oh,
He's taking this seriously. He's
Well,
taking it
you're right. There are because
So
to
many.
me, like this was a core game for me. I played the hell out of this game. So this one was
Yeah,
good to me.
I'm just trying to remember in my head. We have an arcade machine in the back with all Genesis games on it, and I'm like trying to remember scrolling through it. Like, oh, what did I see? Did anyone come in and play this in the last couple weeks? Is this character part of a larger franchise, or was this a one-off installment?
I'm gonna cheat. It was a 2-off installment.
Did both versions of this game exist on the Sega Genesis?
Yes.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's 18, I think.
So number 1 and 2 are both on the same platform. That's bullshit. That doesn't help me.
Do you want to ask a friend to ask a question, i.e., Drew or Kristen?
Oh, I can give a hint.
You
But
can give me
I
a
know
hint?
what it is, though.
But I can give a hint of what it looks like.
I think the
Okay.
best hint we could give you right now is
No.
probably the color.
Yeah, exactly. Give the color.
Can I say what he looks like?
No.
Well, that would be color, yeah.
Right.
He looks like a green tennis ball.
Like a green tennis ball.
I would focus
Somewhat-
on the green there.
Yeah. I was
Look-
gonna
look
say.
at
I would,
his-
I would
look
say
at
that
his
would be a
body.
little bit misleading,
Like
but
balls.
yes,
He's
Yes,
got balls.
there are balls involved. There's balls everywhere.
many balls.
Many balls. Balls flying around. Just balls.
Okay, so it's not necessarily like tennis balls, but as if the pieces weren't necessarily connecting.
There we go.
Yes.
Then it's-
Yes.
Is it Vector Man?
Yes, it is. He's like, ah. I was gonna say, I will give credit. Dustin had it almost right away.
Did he?
Within, I think, 4 questions.
That's impressive. That is. I
then-
wouldn't have gotten that.
Well, I've never played it in my life.
No.
Same here.
Well, a
And
lot of credit for you.
the point we're
for
getting
knowing it.
to now is just me remembering what's on game covers
Right.
from back in the day on magazines in the grocery store and looking at advertisement.
See, and that's what stinks about like games like that, though, because it was a core game for to me that was huge. Like I played the.
When I
living
hear
hell out
Vector
of it,
Man,
so.
he's not a mascot, but for some reason I thought of him as like this big character that represented
Well,
Genesis.
I kept thinking like because there were like when you say mascot, there were so many good games back then. Well, not good.
They did with
games back
Spot,
then.
Cool Spot.
Yeah, it's Cool Spot. Yeah, like the 7-Up game and
Yeah.
and the Dominoes game and those I have such fond memories of those. I don't know why, but I do.
I ruined it.
Nostalgia.
I ruined
The
it when
tennis balls hit was kind of obvious.
I ruined it when I said he's made of balls.
Well, he only had like 2 questions left. We had to give him a.
That game was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
And it was
yeah.
tough.
I
Like, you were
would've had
asking, like, you're like, oh, is it a male? Well, I mean, you were,
Who
I
knows?
guess, supposed to guess
Who
that it
knows?
was. Like,
Robot.
does he use weapons?
Robot.
Well, I mean, he
Well,
changes
his name
into
is
a tank,
Vector
so.
Man.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
he is a man
Yeah.
made of vectors of
Yes.
some
It's
kind.
Welcome,
true.
Crazy
It's true.
Legs.
I would not have gotten it without.
That hint.
Would not have gotten it without that hint. Though.
Well, you did get it.
happened.
Congratulations, Zach. We got another question for you.
Yes.
I'm so sorry it took that
I'm
long.
so sorry it took so long. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you guys.
Next question. Thank you to everybody who's following. Thank you to all the subs. You guys are amazing. We got Zach here on the show from Hyper RPG. Got another question for him. What is your dream video game? And what that means is you have unlimited funds, which you of course do, right, Zach?
And talent.
And talent, unlimited funds and unlimited talent to make whatever game you could possibly imagine. However long you want it to take, it doesn't matter. What is the game going to be?
Well, going back to my obsession, which is comic books, I want a Valiant Universe video game like now, and I want BioWare to make it.
Oh.
But I want it to be like an in-world thing, and you know, a little bit more like character exploration and all that good stuff, and less like just straight up superhero beat 'em up. But like mixing some of the newer, like the stuff I saw from Anthem, you know, like
Yeah,
see like Exo Manowar and like in a suit like that, doing some shit like that. But then you've also got your other your Unity Squad and all that shit. I don't know. That's like that would be my dream. They haven't had a video game come out since the old Shadow Man game back in the day when Acclaim bought them, and I want to see a game property from them bad.
That's
Really
cool.
awesome.
That sounds awesome. Anthem looked real good, I have to say. Anthem looks
Yeah,
stunning.
to the point. It looks so good that I'm like, this has got to be bullshit.
Yeah.
You're not
so
alone
good.
calling that, because there's a lot of people saying that this is. That
Well, supposedly it was on PC, right? With
Right.
Xbox One X like specs. Is
Well,
what
you
we
knew
were
that
hearing.
you knew that was going to happen the second they premiered it at the Xbox
Right.
conference and then the PS4 conference, or vice versa, whichever one was first, and it was the exact same. And it's like, okay,
Right.
well, this is obviously a pre-render. This isn't. There's no variance whatsoever in this.
Right.
Uh,
Did you see that on the PlayStation YouTube, the Anthem video that was uploaded? It has all Xbox buttons, but they clearly just pasted over them with PlayStation symbols. They didn't even take the
That's
time to.
amazing. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, no, honestly, it's probably developed on PC with an Xbox controller being used. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's just the way it is. Like, it's not
Right.
it's not like
Yeah.
PlayStation was the one who did this. It was probably BioWare that did that and
Yeah.
sent it over
Oh,
to
I'm
Sony,
sure.
and then they uploaded it. So, I wouldn't blame Sony for that, but I just
I'm
thought
guessing
that
they
was kinda
actually.
fun.
They probably hired an outside company, honestly, to like pull together the clips and make something watchable. But
Well, that one was for Silent Kill. I'm going to do another wheel spin for you, Zach.
Or who is it?
All right.
Arslan?
This one is for, yeah, I think I want to say Arslan.
Arslan?
yeah, Arizlin. Yep.
There we go.
Another one for you, man. Your greatest ever gaming achievement. Something that you're very proud of.
Oh God.
Could be a trophy, could be an achievement, could be just beating a game in general.
But this is gaming, not necessarily video gaming.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Just
what-
gaming.
I like this. I like this.
Go on.
Keep
What,
going.
like checkers or
I'm curious
Twister?
what you mean by this.
I'm gonna say beating Hector Navarro in HeroClix a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I needed that. I needed it bad.
So
Give me
he's,
a
like,
little
really
bit
good
of
at this game or
backstory,
something?
because we've never played
I
HeroClix.
slaughtered him. HeroClix is great. It's a tabletop game where you pretty much get to be the superheroes, and you know you have collectible figures with clicks, and they all have powers and all that good stuff.
Right.
And we've been playing it for years, and I often don't win whenever we're airing it live, and I usually lose very badly. So I needed that win. I needed
Way to
that
go,
win.
man.
I
That's
need to
my
show that I
greatest-
don't
that's
suck
my
at it.
greatest, my greatest gaming achievement was beating Hector at HeroClix a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to beat him again tomorrow night. That's
Oh,
gonna be
I
fun.
wanna
That
watch
would,
it then.
That would
Part
be
two.
like me beating you in ping pong or something.
That would be. I'm very
I'd
good at
be
ping pong.
So
Yeah, oddly
fulfilled.
good.
I'd
Like
be so fulfilled.
disturbingly for how not you don't have a ping pong table.
I don't have a ping pong table,
Like, I
but
don't understand
I've held
this.
on to my skills from the old days.
Well, if you're ever back, or if you're ever in Los Angeles for anything, you know,
Oh yeah, we go every other weekend.
We could. Oh, cool, great. We could show you. We could show you how to play ping pong for real.
Ooh,
What?
boy.
Wait a second.
Oh,
Is it
God,
different in California than it is in Jersey? Am I confused on how to play ping pong? Have I been doing it wrong this whole time?
Probably because we would slaughter you.
Oh, see, this really hurts me. I'll be honest with you. Like, I honestly want to travel to California right now because I take my skills in ping pong very seriously.
You take your skills in a lot of things very seriously.
This is true. I'm a stubborn man. Well, anyway, Rick, thank you for giving XP to the room. That was for Bulldog Brad. Thank you so much for your tip, Bulldog Brad. And finally, Uber Baddie. I'm sure another.
Baldy.
Baldy.
Uber Baldy.
Uber Baddie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him Uber Betty from now on.
Thank you so much for the sub. And for you, if you would like, we can do a custom welcome message for you. That means that whisper me with something that you want to post into the chat when you come into our show, into our channel, and it will be made so. And lastly, Guitar Freak just tipped one more time, so one more spin.
Is he the bit boss? He's the bit
Guitar
boss.
Freak
Guitar Freak
is
became the bit boss.
Sorry, Brad.
Ooh, oh, so close.
We're getting these all out of the way at the beginning here.
Right.
Oh, shame. Okay,
so
this is for whoever Guitar Freak wants it to be for, so long as Zac is okay with telling a shameful story.
Can I wear the shame hat for him if he wants to tell it?
Oh, I am very comfortable telling shameful stories. My life is pretty much broadcasted to the internet.
Right.
Yeah, right? It's crazy. Like, we think about that now because we have a daughter, and we think about the stuff we do on the show and how that it's very easy for her to someday look at all this, and yeah, we're gonna be very ashamed of a lot of the stuff we do here.
If you want shame, you can just Google Beyond Zac.
Beyond Zac. I'm gonna do that.
Beyond, like Beyonce, but Beyond Zac. That's my. I'm guessing someone's gonna link it before you.
You saw my shame at the very beginning clip of the show.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Gotcha.
Mike dressed up as Adele during our lip sync challenges, and he did a wonderful performance of what was it? Hello. All right, well, Guitar Freak, I don't think if Zac is up to it, he said, this is the only chance I have. So he has chosen you, Zac, to tell a shameful story.
All right, a shameful story.
Shame.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm wearing the shame hat for you.
Okay. So shameful story. Here's the problem. I'd have to actually feel ashamed, right?
Yeah.
Something that at the very least you look back and reflect on as a shameful
Maybe
experience.
something that we would consider shameful?
Yeah, or that.
For example, well, should I not give an example then? Oh.
No, you can go for it. Give me an example.
This is like a very silly example, but I haven't done anything crazy in my life. I fooled my sister when we were in Brownies. You remember the hamster story?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I wanted the cute fuzzy hamster material, and I fooled her into thinking that mine was... All I hear is shame. That mine was the best hamster, and I convinced her to take the ugly one.
So you performed a little reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology.
To make her think that your hamster was the
So that's a very tame
attractive
shame story.
It's very, that wasn't the worst of them.
That was definitely very tame. I hope you go with more shameful than that, Zac.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I look back on that, and I'm like, oh, I was so mean to my sister. That sucked.
I'm trying to think, because for the most part, I've shared so many stories on Twitch, and I'm like, I don't know if I have anything left in my well that I
Not for our
shared.
community, you haven't. Our community has probably not heard these shameful stories, so feel free, man.
It's true. But the thing is, I don't know if they're shameful, because to me, growing up in the middle of nowhere, this was normal life. Doing weird shit and not realizing that it was weird, because you had no context for how the real world operated, and people just did weird shit.
I like where this is going.
Well, it's just that's my entire life growing up, and then getting to college and then having people go like, "You're fucking weird. These things are not okay." I would say, as far as something I'm actually ashamed of, because not much. I was, but in like a very naive college sort of way of, for the most part, I'm really happy with the way I've lived my life. I've always had a very strong moral compass for myself and said, I will quit jobs for ethical reasons. I will do, I don't want anyone to ever be harmed or any of those things. I'm very proud of that, but I went through a stint in college where I got in my head that certain types of big corporations were just the devil, and that meant that it was okay for me.
On fur coats.
No.
Okay.
It was more like me finding a way to validate the fact that I was broke and like I was homeless for a while and stuff like that. So it was just like, all right, well, I've got to make money, so I'm going to steal from these big corporations, and then it's fine because they're bad. They're bad.
I can
So
see that.
we had all sorts of scams we would do in college to make money on the side to pay the bills and stuff. Like
So
we
you were
had
a confidence man.
Yeah,
Shame.
yeah, in a way.
Shame.
You know, like we had
Shame.
most of the stuff was from Walmart. It was almost always Walmart. We were very much like Walmart's the devil, and that means that it's okay for us to steal from them. And I understand this is all extremely incriminating, but you know, like we would do stuff where we would, you know, hide 4 Xbox games inside of a Edison 60-watt light bulb box and just scan the box through, and most of the time the tellers were not smart enough to look in the box and see that they were actually filled with video games. Because if you do a duffel bag, they're going to catch that. They always open up a duffel bag, but a 60-watt Edison box is the exact same size as an Xbox case. You just slide those through.
Wow. Wow.
Calculators were great. There was a time at Walmart where you could, this was when they first came out with self-checkouts. There was a time where you could return something and get a gift card for the return. If you didn't have a receipt and you returned something, instead of them giving you money because you didn't have a receipt, they'd give you a gift card. But when they first came out with those self-checkouts, you could go get like a stick of gum and get cash back off of your gift card. So this was something we would do quite often, and you could only do 3 returns within 6 months per Walmart. And in the middle of Missouri,
Wow.
in the
They
middle of
check your
Missouri,
ID.
in the middle of Missouri, there was like a Walmart every 30 miles. So we had a rotating system of like how we would return
Holy
these things
shit.
to make a certain amount of revenue back and stuff like that. And
You
it
guys
was,
went all in.
we did.
Everything.
We did. And
Zach
then it was
was
like,
a con man.
Wow,
For
like
a while,
Sawyer
yeah.
from Lost.
Like very,
Like Sawyer from Lost.
Shame.
Yeah.
yeah.
very successful.
Never,
apparently.
ever in my life have I
Shame.
ever taken anything from any other person or company. I convinced myself that Walmart was the worst, and then it became like a game. So like
I'll back you up there.
gamify,
Walmart is the worst.
Yeah.
gamify
What?
stealing from Walmart.
Shame.
Walmart's
And
not the worst.
Shame.
and
Shame.
that, you know, we got like a big flat screen TV once, and like we
That's
got really
really
into it. And then I
awesome.
remember waking up one day and being like, "This is fucked up. I have to stop doing this. This is really messed up. I think I've made a grave mistake. This is really bad, and I've gone way too far." And I think it was like we realized it because my roommate and I were like, it turned into a little company, and we were getting hit up by people. To like, we had a system for how we could return Xbox 360s for new ones. So if you found a broken one on Craigslist, we would do the serial number swaps and make it look totally legit, and they couldn't track it, and we would like switch them out and usually just make $50 per switch and all this stuff. And then it got to the point where like people are contacting us to like do all this stuff, and it was just like, nah, this is not.
Nope.
We got
We
to
are
get
not
out.
that
This is
dark
growing
yet.
too quickly. We need to get out.
Yeah.
now.
And it was,
Shame.
and it, and then I look back on it years later. I'm
Shame.
like, man, college me was super full of himself.
But at the
Like,
same time,
like,
what
I
a
really,
comeback story. I mean, you just said you were homeless at one point. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm wondering who's going to play you in the movie.
oh right, yeah, okay.
We already found out it's Max Thoreau from Basement
It'll-
Golf.
Yes.
It'll be my little brother. I'll just cast my little brother in there.
There you go. See, I
There
thought
you go.
like the extent of mine was I had a few friends that worked. You guys remember Best Buy Bucks when they did a Monopoly at McDonald's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
So they attached the Best Buy Bucks, and at one point for about the first 2 or 3 years, they didn't put a limit on them. And so I had a few friends at McDonald's, one of them being an assistant manager, who
Right.
they would go and take out the trash, and the trash just happened to be giant sleeves of McDonald's fries, the holders, and they would bring them out there, and one of the other guys would go
dirty
and grab
man.
them. So I ended up getting, I remember I got Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for free. I got
Nice.
that was like my big haul.
That was like, yeah, that's the
'cause
one you remember.
I'm one of those big, like, I might talk a big game, but I'm a big giant pussy. So like I'm like, oh my god, I stole a video game essentially. Like I don't want to do anything bigger than this. So that was like the top.
Oh,
tier.
believe me, if I ever would have gotten caught, I would have just broke down. I would have been like, what the fuck was I doing? You know?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because it's the thing, I was trying to make it impersonal and act like there was no person attached, and like make it totally abstract.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like I could never look another person in the face and be like, oh, I hurt your chances to succeed at your company. Like if someone
Right.
ever got in trouble for us like taking something or taking a return, I would have just
Right, you lost
been like,
it.
no, what did I do?
The music
was-
from what's it called? What was the song that we used?
Oh, the Lonely Man, I think it's called, from Hulk.
From
The
no,
Lonely
not the
Man?
Lonely Man. At the end of Platoon,
Oh, that's
you just hear the music start playing. And
I can't
Zach just
remember
like
that.
falls in slow motion to his knees. Like, what have
Yeah.
I done?
Yeah,
What have I
basically.
done? So we just got a $10 PSN card on the wheel. That goes to Bulldog Brad for his $5 tip.
Nice.
Bradley,
That's
I will
awesome.
message you after the show with a $10 PSN card. Congratulations,
Dude,
man.
I'm a big fan of this wheel. I'm a big fan of it. I'm liking the wheel.
People
It's
have always
so
enjoyed the wheel
convenient.
when we do it here. So I think we're all caught up finally. We were
Yes.
45 minutes into the show and we were really just getting started.
We want to thank you, Zach, for your shameful story.
Yes.
No problem.
have
no
definitely
problem.
topped my
There's
shameful
many
story.
more. That's just the only thing I'm actually ashamed of.
My
Everything
top story so far was taking a piss in a water jug in my bedroom and have my mom find it 5 years later. So
5 years.
yeah, I'll
was-
tell the
there
story
was
quickly
pennies in
again.
there.
So
No,
my
you should be ashamed of yourself. That's,
wait,
that's
let me
messed up.
explain. Let me explain. My mom locked me in my room. She deserved it.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. She actually didn't even lock me in my room.
You have a daughter now, right?
I do. I do.
Cool. How old is she?
Shame.
She is 14 months.
Shame.
14 months. So guys, mark this clip. Mark this clip. 10 years from now, somebody
Shame.
just post it. She's
Shame.
gonna have a Twitter account by then. 10-year-olds will have Twitter accounts in 10 years, and just post this video and
Shame.
karma.
If you want to see
Shame.
the full story, it's on our Twitch highlights. I did highlight it. Just so
Oh,
it's more
God.
easy for you to find.
You didn't mention that it was full of loose change.
Yeah, so I'll go very quickly. I was a very stubborn child. And
No.
she didn't actually lock me in my bedroom. She told me to go to my bedroom. The door was unlocked. I was just a stubborn kid
Shame.
that was like, oh, even though the door is
Shame.
unlocked right now, you told me to stay in my room. So
Shame.
even though I have to go to the bathroom, I'm not going to leave the room. I'm going to take a piss in this big water jug filled with pennies. One of those like big, like 10-gallon ones, right? So I did this, and I completely forgot about it. I forgot. Years and years passed. And
So it's like one of those
Shame.
big jugs.
Yeah,
So you
one of
couldn't
those
even
huge
really
jugs.
tell that it was in there because it's just like
Shame.
mixing
Exactly, you couldn't
it
even
with the
smell it.
pennies.
You couldn't even smell it because it had that little hole at the top. If you put your nose to it, you could of course smell it.
Well,
But
yeah,
no-
of course.
It's like the worst
copper probably
diffuser
soaks it all
ever.
up.
Right. Who puts their nose to a water jug thing though? So I just kept putting coins on top of it, and by the time 5 years or 7 years or so passed by, this thing was like a quarter of the way full. And I come home from school one day, and my mom has the entire thing dumped out on the kitchen counter. And I just walk in, and she looks at me, and she just goes, "What did you do?" And it took me like 10 seconds to realize what had happened, and that she was scrubbing the pennies down that were now green and smelled like piss. And
God, what's wrong with you?
and that is my
Shame.
shameful story.
Oh my
Did you fess up to
Shame.
it, or did you just say like?
Oh, I
the
told her.
cat
No,
did it?
I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm now, 15 or 17 or
Shame.
whatever years old. This was when I was like 10 or
Shame.
under. I was a stupid child.
You're
I,
getting
Shame.
shamed a lot.
I apologize.
You should. He should be getting
I
shamed a
need to
lot.
say one thing. So Brad, who won the $10 PSN gift card, is from the UK, so he says it's probably not going to work.
I'll PayPal you $10,
Yeah.
Brad,
There you
There you go.
and then you can do whatever the hell you want with
go. Be smart.
it. Be smart.
You won $10, Brad.
Don't buy too many drugs, Brad. Okay. So,
Brad just turned 20. He doesn't
did,
do
yeah.
drugs.
That's true.
You sure?
What? What, people do drugs at 20?
Sure. Why not?
No, they don't.
Kristen's such a
You love you
Innocent
led
creature.
Such an innocent
Look at
life.
Zach's eyes bugging him.
I don't know where you came from, but
That's exactly my thought process.
not Kansas City. But anyway, let's actually get into
That's where Dorothy is from.
the crux of this show.
Well, and Toto.
We're going to get into the official non-gaming portion of the show.
Okay,
It doesn't
all right.
usually take this long, Brad, or sorry, Zach, for us to get into the actual show. So for us to say
all good.
non-gaming, it's all backwards right now. But this is the official non-gaming portion of the show. We do 3 non-gaming topics at 2 minutes each. Are we all ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's do it. First up tonight, Intel US has no game. So, the final season of Game of Thrones is starting up next week.
Woo! Next Sunday.
We're all super pumped, right?
Yes.
No.
Oh man, no.
Well, I think a lot of people have been disappointed, though, that this season is going to be 7 episodes, the next season is going to be 6, but according to HBO and some insiders, the final season, all of the episodes are going to be like 80 to 90 minutes long.
That's gonna kill us.
That's going to be crazy, but my question is, at that point, why not just make the season 10 episodes?
Right.
If they're all going to be 80 to 90 minutes long. Like, I don't understand what the point of this
I
is
absolutely
anymore.
agree.
Yeah.
Like, are you bummed at all, Zach, that they decided to shorten the seasons for
I'm
these
bummed
final
the
couple?
show's still on. I
Are you
I'm
not
not
Game of
immediately.
Thrones?
I don't like Game of Thrones at all.
No?
I'm gonna be that person who's in the room being like, nah, don't like it.
Did you give it a shot?
Oh yeah, I got through 3 seasons. I was just like, I
Wow.
can't do it. I'm not into it. I can't do Game of Thrones. I tried. It's just not my thing.
Well, he at
You're
least
not
tried.
alone.
You
My
tried.
girlfriend's the same way. She
You tried,
did
yeah.
1 season. And
Yeah.
She's like, I don't give 2 shits for this.
It's a little bit overwhelming and a little bit intimidating, and also some people just don't like that. It's kind of shock value
Some people
sometimes.
just not even the shock
Shame.
value. A lot of people just don't connect.
Shame.
It's
Yeah,
just
there's
not
no
my
connection.
type of story. I
Shame.
love so many like heady TV shows, big TV shows. I'm like my background is film, and I get really into that shit. I'm not a big fantasy person.
okay.
Not really big into fantasy. Not really into the dragons and stuff like that. But there was like things that set me off with the writing in the first couple seasons that are just kind of pet peeves of mine, and then it made me hard to ever come back from it. Some of the excessive stuff that I shouldn't hold a grudge on, but I do, and then I'm like,
I
I got plenty of other things to watch.
Do you at least like the theme song?
I like the Peter Dinklage version.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, it seems like our chat is very excited because they're shaming you right now. But I'm excited. I'm glad they're doing long episodes at the least, just because I want
Yeah.
more content. But I'm a little surprised that
Right. It's nonsensical.
yeah, it's nonsensical. You're going to shorten the season and then lengthen the episodes. It makes no
Right.
sense. It's backwards. Next up,
Start time.
so we have a kind of an inside joke here on the show. We always make fun of Gotham by Gaslight, even though it's actually a pretty cool story within the Batman universe. It turns out that the next animated movie within the DC animated film structure is going to be Gotham by
Wait,
Gaslight.
you
Dean's
have an
losing his mind.
inside joke that's Gotham by Gaslight?
Yes.
Everything Batman.
It isn't just about Gotham, it's about Gotham by Gaslight instead.
Specifically, yes.
Yeah.
What do you not like about Mike Magnolia? Come
Oh
on.
no. It's not that we don't like it. It's just everything we've wanted it, and
Oh.
so one of the other guys that was on the show, Dean, was really and he's always wanted a game or something to do with Gotham by Gaslight. He thought it would be a really cool premise for a game. So anytime there's something hinted at in game Gotham by Gaslight, and it's kind of like a joke. Like everything we say, like the Order 1886 had that Gotham by Gaslight feel at the very end to it. Like there's always been those little jabs.
We talk about it very
and
often on the show.
Yeah.
What's funny about it is when we first started talking about it, we didn't realize that there was like this prototype video game that was made for Gotham by Gaslight that eventually got canceled. Yeah, you can find it online. There's actually video of this prototype Gotham by Gaslight game that never came
cool.
to be. And now they're making a DC animated film out of it, which is pretty cool. Even though I must admit that I feel like the DC animated films have been on a decline for quite a while now.
I wouldn't say quite a while, but the last, I would say 2 weren't as good as I wanted them to be. Definitely not as good as some of the ones previously.
Killing Joke bummed me out hard.
Oh, Killing Joke was, in my opinion, bad.
That was fucking rough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel so bad for Batgirl fans out there. That was
Right.
just,
Batgirl.
oh man,
Yeah.
that was
They
hard
did
to
her
watch.
such a disservice in that.
That
It
was
was
so
really
hard
terrible.
to watch.
So
I'm just
what
like,
they-
did anyone have a meeting with anyone about this?
Right.
Like, did anyone like sit in a room and go,
Well,
hey, is
the
this a
whole
bad
movie-
idea?
Right, like not even that though. Like it even goes deeper than that to me. Like you have this giant budget and this huge following, and that's your animation style.
And this is the
This
one that they
choppy,
waited for,
like,
right?
South Park season 1 like
Yeah.
level budget like of animation. Like it was just bad.
So many people waited for the Killing Joke, and then that's what they gave us. Oh man, just sad.
Yeah, a lot of people saying it was terrible.
And lastly, another very sad story.
Yes.
Stan Lee's wife, Joan Lee, passed away this week at the age, I think, of 93. Right? I want to
Yes,
say
she was
They
93.
were married for 70 years. This video here I watched, and Stan Lee goes through a very touching story on how he met his wife and how she worked at a modeling agency and how he was sent there to talk to one of the models, and then she was at the front desk and
She was
he
a
fell in love-
hat model.
the hat model. That's right.
She modeled hats.
Yeah. And he met this, Joan at the front desk and immediately fell in love with her. And
but the way he was saying, like, how he met her, he
Yeah.
was like, her voice was like an angel. He was just, oh my god, he like
Yeah,
loved
he was
her so
enamored.
much.
yeah, her
His wife was
face,
very into it.
I can't even describe her face. Like, he's that guy, he's that old guy that talks
Yeah.
in poetry, basically. And I know a lot of people are very, a little bit fearful almost in a sense. Like,
I've said
yeah.
it for years. Like
He's old.
I met him briefly.
You did?
At
Oh, really?
Comic-Con, yeah.
oh,
like,
okay, nice.
last year, 2 years ago, and it was just one of those like, man, this guy is on his way out. Like even when he was hosting the costume thing at the end of Comic-Con, he had his essentially what for lack of better words, his translator. He had somebody stand in. Normally he would have hosted it, but he was not in a state to host it. He had somebody that had to host it for him, kind of take the dialogue that he wasn't quick enough to grab onto or respond to,
Right.
and kind of like translate it back to him in a way that he would grasp.
I don't know when this video was done, but I thought he sounded really really great in this video. He sounded like eloquent. He was great with his words, but this might have been years ago. I'm not sure how long ago this video was recorded, but either way, God, the day that Stan Lee leaves the world, holy shit, are we going to have a whole lot of memoriams in place for him? Like anytime, especially when it comes to like comic book culture, right? I can't imagine the work that people are going to put into great tributes to Stan Lee. Not that we should even be discussing this right now. I guess it's but
that's morbid.
It's morbid to think about.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing the longevity he's had. But my favorite instance of her was Madame Web on the Spider-Man show back in the day, and it's so cool that they got to like merge their careers in some ways. And
the story that was being told there, supposedly he was ready to quit his job. He felt like the stories they wanted him to tell were not what he wanted to tell. And then Joan told him, since you're going to quit anyway, why not just do a story you want to do? And if they don't like it, who cares? You're going to get fired anyway, or you're going to quit anyway, right? And then he did Fantastic Four, and it did amazingly well. And they went to him and they're like, we need more stories like this one that is about personalities and about relationships, and not about the action and the combat, but about the characters themselves. And that was the start of it all. So in a sense, Joan was responsible for Stan Lee becoming such a big part of comic book culture and where it is today. So,
whoa, pause.
Yeah.
Megalo Blazemon says, Marvel Studios has a full body scan of Stan Lee. He'll show up in movies even after he passes.
I doubt they would do that to him either. Even if they did have a full body scan.
I don't know. I could see them maybe doing it.
Really?
I think what would happen is if he died before they were able to shoot a movie that they were in the middle of. So let's say for
maybe, but I mean, just look at Disney is Marvel now,
off.
And Disney's very reluctant to recreate Carrie Fisher for Star Wars Episode 9. I mean, why would they do it for Stan Lee if they won't do it for Carrie Fisher?
Because you can do it with Stan Lee easily. It's only like 10 seconds.
And I think with Stan Lee, like, for example, like in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, like his scene in that, like I could so see them doing that as an homage to put him in the background of some cool scene, especially like, say if for some crazy reason he passes before, in Avengers 4, and it's like, the final hurrah of this big thing, and it's like, I guarantee they'd find a way to put him in there somewhere.
Just like as a goodbye type thing.
Yeah, it's his legacy,
Yeah, Dean even said in the chat, the Beast NJ, that the next 5 or 6 cameos that he's going to have, they've already filmed. I guess they're fearful as well.
Oh my god, that's like really sad.
It's very sad. It is very sad. But he's 93 years old. I
know, but
he lived a great life.
But like knowing why, like he knows why they're filming them, so it just sucks.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I get it. Well, anyway, that is TLUS Has No Game. Let's keep moving forward here. We have something called the Community Question of the Week on this show. Go ahead, Mike.
Do we?
Yeah.
I think we do. And it's now on Discord.
It is now on Discord, yeah.
Where I thought it was for the longest time. But guys, you can go to our Discord channel and answer the community.
There you go.
I can say
words.
Question
Language,
of the week. And this week, that question was, what game were you most surprised to actually enjoy and why? And on the other hand, what game was surprisingly disappointing for you? So there's been a few responses in here, started by a good friend of mine, Brian, aka Flames to Earth, who said, I was most surprised I liked Transistor. I'm not typically a fan of these types of games, but the story and the soundtrack drew me in and kept me going. The most disappointing, though, would probably be Gravity Rush 2. I still enjoyed the game's story, but the first game, which I played on PS4 and not the Vita, felt so much smoother and easier to control than the newer game. I have no input about that game.
I have input about Transistor.
Yes,
I thought that game was excellent. I know that you're into the indie stuff, right, Zach? So
it was great.
And what are they working on now? They're working on another one. I'm drawing a blank on the name of it.
No, I don't know. Never mind.
It looks somewhat similar to Transistor. It has the same art style. I think it might even have similar
I think I saw it at
combat.
one of the like PAX East or something. I can't remember.
But either way, it looks great.
Talks to the person talks to or something like that in the same realm. Like, isn't it like a vehicle or something?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to misspeak, but I will say Transistor was awesome. So I'm with you there, Brian. And I've always Pyre. Thank you. And I've wanted to play Gravity Rush, but I just never got around to it. It's partially because it was on the Vita to begin with, and even though I had a Vita, that system was kind of.
You still have your Vita, right?
I still have my Vita.
I do not. I finally sold mine.
You sold yours?
I did.
For how much money?
$125.
Not bad, actually.
No,
I did really. That's why I jumped on it. I was like, I'm taking advantage of it.
As I've said, I'm very weird about selling my things.
I get it. But you know what? A PC is far more important to me right now.
Yeah, I get you, man.
Yeah.
What's up next?
All right, the next one was from My Dark Passenger, who said, the most surprised I was for Final Fantasy VII. I didn't pick it up until it was a 20-year-old PlayStation bestseller game, and at the time... Wait, a 20-year-old? Is it or just 20?
It was. I think it was when they did like the greatest hits.
The
20
greatest
year
hits.
later PlayStation
Okay,
bestseller
gotcha.
type thing. Yeah.
And had never played the RPG game before. I mainly played the Resident Evil games and sports games back then. Anyway, I was hooked. For the most disappointing, though, I will say The Division. Me and the people I work with were looking forward to it at least a year prior to release, and maybe in our heads we overhyped it, but even though I had bought the season pass in advance, man, that sucks. I was done about that. Who said the person who just bought the season pass?
Yeah, you are the same person.
I was done about 18 hours in. There is only so much of doing the same things over and over again I can handle. I wasn't down with every enemy being a bullet sponge. You can take the first one. I will take the second.
Well, even though I almost am ashamed to say this, just because so many people get on me about it, but Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. It is kind of what got me into RPGs.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like,
the hype train.
What a trite answer. I get it. It was my first game, really, though, like that had like a big story to it and characters, and it's what introduced me to Japanese RPGs. And on top of that, it is a great game. I think
for your age, I think it's a perfect entry game into the
yeah, and I think most people can admit it's at least a great game, right? So that on top of the nostalgia glasses, just everything combined with what that game means to me, it is my favorite game of all time. So I'm totally with you there, My Dark Passenger. I'm glad that you liked Final Fantasy VII.
That said, as for The Division, I agree with your answer to an extent. However, I don't agree 18 hours in. It sucks that you didn't grab onto anything that's fun there. See, to me, what I did enjoy is playing for more time than that with good friends, like when I played with Rick and when I played with Johnny, but also when I played with even people like Brad or a buddy of mine, Sean, and then I met other people that I was playing Destiny with, and it was a nice fun game to do community missions with.
Sure.
For all its issues, the Dark Zone was stressful and entertaining to some extent, but not void of bugs or any exploits or anything like that. But it was definitely a fun game. So it kind of sucks that it was that quick that you wanted to give up on it, but I can absolutely agree with it.
I think we were trying to figure out if we had like a bug when we played it, but when we played it live the night it came out, we did a kind of like a release stream for it,
right? And
4 hours into it, we had only shot at black people in hoodies, and we were like, "This is uncomfortable as shit." And
I didn't even pay attention to that.
It got super weird, and we were getting really uncomfortable because it's just like every corridor and every enemy we saw was just like, okay, this is like I don't, and it's like we're 3 white dudes on a couch, and it's just like
It was like Resident Evil. Was it 5?
5
at the very beginning.
Yeah, you didn't like it. I didn't have a problem. I got it.
I was just at the very beginning.
The very beginning of Resident Evil 5, at least like it was taking place in a small African village, and you could at least say that like there's a location issue there. This is just like, oh, these are supposed to be hoodlums, bad people in the streets of Chicago, and they happen to all be black people wearing hoodies.
I will say I did see a decent amount of white people in the game when I think about it. There was a lot of those typical cliche like white construction workers, but everybody, you're right, everybody was absolutely a cliche. There wasn't even the characters on the phones were cliches. So
yeah. And somebody said later that we may have had a bug because other people reported that problem, but not everyone reported that problem. Like it was only loading one enemy type for us, but it definitely made us like we never touched it again.
It's like a scorned employee that just put like something.
That would be especially uncomfortable if it was literally the exact same character model of a black person in a hoodie over and over again. I could understand that being uncomfortable. Kristen, my wife, is going to peace out.
Mistress
is going to peace out.
You're going?
Oh yes, I have to get up early with the baby, the toddler. She's not really a baby anymore. So it is my time to part.
Well, thank you. Hello, nice to meet you.
It was very nice to meet you, Max. Theriot.
Yeah.
I don't think you were here for that, were you? We decided that he looks like Max from
yeah, he was sitting here.
I wasn't sure if that was before you came in here. But yes, I would want to go too far to say you look just like him, but...
Well, from the side, especially.
From the side. Give us your profile, Zach. There we go. Very nice, Max.
He is not like that answer.
Thank you so much. I know I don't really have a spot to say this, but thank you for all the subs. That was amazing.
Yes.
Andrew and Mike. Yes, everyone has worked so hard to get to 80, and it finally happened. Thank you, Zach, for announcing that, because it really did make a difference. I know we're very thankful. It was so nice to meet you, and good night, everyone. That was a nice, peaceful, calm giraffe goodbye.
Goodbye. Love you.
Love you.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, what's next, Mike? What's the next comment?
The next one was from Tim, one of a kind, who said, I was surprised by Skyrim. I had never played an RPG before or even cared for them, but I really enjoyed the game and it got me into RPGs. A game that surprisingly disappointed me would have to be Prey. I love my sci-fi shooters, but Prey really bored me. It felt really slow in places. I couldn't finish it. I'm wondering if he meant the new one.
I would assume the new one.
Skyrim I can actually get with him on, and I'm a little bit the same as him. I tried playing other Elder Scrolls games. I couldn't get into it. I tried playing other RPGs and was not fully immersed. You know, I liked Diablo for a while, and games like that. But that said, I wasn't really enamored by a lot of RPGs, but Skyrim really got me.
Skyrim is like my big regret. I never played Skyrim.
Well, you didn't have the option. You had a PS3.
I had a PS3, and I refused to play it because it was just so awful on that console. And then now the remaster's out, but it's just it's so intimidating. Like I don't know how I'd ever find the time to play such a massive game on top of all the other backlog games that I have.
Quite a lot of things to touch.
So, what about you? I know you're not into high fantasy, Zach. So I doubt you.
Skyrim's not my thing.
Yeah, I figured.
I mean, I'll go Fallout, but just couldn't really get into Skyrim.
Right.
That's cool. Good answer though.
Yeah. Hetman RX to the next one. He said, I was extremely surprised by Fez, which you liked. I haven't played a good platform for ages. This one had me hooked. I was disappointed by the last two Assassin's Creed outings, however, with Unity and Syndicate. They were cookie cutter and bland. Story was blind. Unity hope they break out of the self-imposed mold for Assassin's Creed Origins. I played a little bit of Fez, so I don't have as much.
I finished Fez, and it's weird. Fez was a game that when I first finished it, I was like, it was good. I liked it, but I don't really get all the hype. But as time has gone on, I look back on it very fondly, actually.
Yeah, I want it on Switch. I want to be able to play that on my Switch like right now.
Oh man, there's so many games I want on the Switch, and not just because I want everything. There are certain games that would really do.
Yeah, well you want to turn it on, play it for 10 minutes when you're traveling, and and then get out of there.
My favorite game that I've thought of that I think should be a perfect port for the Switch is Castle Crashers. I think that game would absolutely be ideal, especially with the the whole push on multiplayer, with the controllers and everything for the Switch. Right. That's a game that you can just get a buddy, hit start, and just jump right in and have fun.
I think what I really admired about Fez, and it's the same for something like The Witness, for instance, is I can't believe how much went into all the puzzles like in the background of it all.
The Witness.
Did you not like The Witness, Zach?
I had mixed feelings.
I thought it's really one of my favorite puzzle games. Actually, I could not believe just how deep it all went, and the Fez was the same way. Just by the end of it all, when it just keeps backing out, and the screen eventually goes to like the static fuzz, and then it restarts again, and those little touches at the throughout the entire game. Really, there was so much wit that was put in from Phil Fish, and also in Witness from Jonathan Blow. I think those guys are very, very intelligent men. I don't understand how they did it. I admire it.
I agree with that. That said, Assassin's Creed did suck. I don't care what everybody else said. The last few Assassin's Creed sucked.
Oh, really? Did you think they sucked?
I did. You know what? It's not that they sucked, but they were just. He was right. They were very bland and cookie cutter.
I think it's just that they kept releasing them every freaking year.
Right. Well, it was the same thing over and over again.
Take a break, and they did take a break. Thank God. Right. I think that they did the right thing.
I am looking forward to Origins. I do think it's different with the RPG elements that they've added to it. So we'll see how that goes. That said, GFN 2112, one of our best friends.
Yes, one of our best friends.
Has said, for most surprising, I'll go with a game I played very recently. Trine 3. What the hell is your issue, Rick?
Isn't that like the full 3D one?
I grabbed it during mid-year sale and knew nothing other than it was an easy platinum. I ended up loving the soundtrack, gameplay, and art. Rick, I'm done.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I don't agree with that at all. I was really disappointed in Trine 3.
Did you get a concussion?
Especially after coming off Trine 1 and 2, which I thought were great.
Trine 3 was unfinished, physically unfinished. They stated it was physically unfinished multiple times. So I don't understand that. That said, he went on to say the most disappointing, on the other hand, would have to be Walking Dead Season 3, which I've heard a lot of. Not focusing on Clementine was a huge mistake, and nearly every new character fell flat for me.
Yeah.
You were not alone in that. That seems to be echoed by a lot of other people, so yes.
You into The Walking Dead at all, Zach?
Yeah, I've played all of them. I would agree with them on that one. For sure.
Yeah. I won't even play it. I don't think I have the desire to. I liked Season 1 a lot. I like Season 2, but I will admit I didn't quite like it as much as Season 1. I think that might be an unpopular opinion, though. I think a lot of people like Season 2 a lot. But Season 3, I don't know. I'm done, man. I don't need it anymore. Kind of the same with the TV show. I'm burned out. I don't really have much of an interest in Walking Dead anymore.
No,
So,
I get it. I agree.
I'm ready to move
I can't
on.
care at all anymore. About
Zombies in general, to me, honestly,
yeah,
are
it's
just
an
getting a little...
it's an overdone genre at this point. I feel like, and it kind of sucks because they are an interesting,
They
world
can
to
be
look at.
interesting.
Right? But people have just
What's
explained it
interesting
so
about
much.
zombies is everything around the zombies. The zombies themselves are rarely interesting. It's the
Right.
story around the
the
zombies.
people, which is why I liked The Walking Dead originally. But the books, the graphic
Right.
novels, none.
Or even the Last of Us, which isn't zombies,
Right.
but still, that's what makes that interesting. Is everything around that is what makes that game stand out, and that's why it's
Right.
so loved. So I lost interest in those. And our final comment was
Our final comment was from our missing operator, Kelly Jellyfish, who said, honestly, Saints Row 4 was really fun. I never had played a Saints Row game before, and it looked pretty stupid at first, but I got it in a Steam sale and figured I'd try it, and I really enjoyed it, almost purely for the comedy in the game, and I'm sure the anal launcher or whatever the heck that gun was.
I think it was a dildo.
Dildo launcher? No, there was one where
Yeah.
you shoved a
Dildo?
thing in the ground. I think it might have been a dildo, and then it just
When you
came
say
up,
shove, I think dildo.
came up underneath the enemy and just shot right up into their ass and just lifted them into the air. or
That
something
sounds
like
about right. Yeah.
So that's all I know about that game. And as much as I love Life is Strange, I will never not be disappointed in it. The writing was subpar and the ending was awful.
Boo!
I will never forgive Don't Nod for that one. And Drew made the wrong choice at the end of the game.
Boo! Boo you, Kelly. I like Life is Strange a lot.
Yeah, but you made the wrong choice.
I did not make this.
You
okay.
made the
Hold
wrong
on. Let's not get into
choice.
spoiler territory here. Has Zach ever played Life is Strange?
I've watched enough other people play it.
Do you care to ever play it?
I don't have time.
Okay, you made the wrong choice.
No, I didn't. I saved
made-
an entire city, an entire town. I
Oh
would
wait,
never...
no, you're on my team then?
Shame.
Yeah.
Who was it on the other team? Was it,
That was
that
Dean
really-
and Greg that saved
Get outta
Chloe.
here.
Yeah, I saved the town.
Oh, how did that happen?
Yeah, save the town, man.
Oh, never mind.
Who
My bad.
cares about Chloe? She was okay.
We're good.
At best. I would never
Thanks.
choose an entire
No,
town. Or...
you made the right choice. Everybody else made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Whoa, going a little far there with that.
Am I? They killed thousands for a love.
Anyway, thank you to all the community question of the week responses, guys. Go on our
Yes.
Discord at discord.gg/levelupnetwork. We will post another question of the week there in the next couple days, and you will be able to get featured on the show potentially.
Woo!
Yeah. All right, we're skipping commercial breaks. We're not doing commercial
boy.
breaks. We're too far behind. We got to move on.
My
Tighten
bad.
it up.
No,
it's our
we're so
fault.
happy that you're here, man. This is what we wanted. This is exactly what we wanted. But we're going to move on to our discussion of the week's biggest gaming industry news. It's called the Level Update. Musical jingle, Zach, since you can't hear it. First up in the Level Update, Five Nights at Freddy's creator has canceled the sixth game, which seems to be Five Nights at Freddy's 6. We don't know for sure, but what he said was, for the last month or so, I've been dropping hints about a new game, and it's true that I've been working on one. Call it Five Nights at Freddy's 6 if you want. But after forcing myself to keep working on it day after day, I realized something. I just don't want to work with this. With each game's release, I think the expectations get higher and higher for the next, and rightfully so. Each game should be better than the last, but that pressure starts to mount, and I fear that I've been neglecting other things in my life for the sake of trying to keep up with those mounting expectations. So after giving this a lot of thought, I've decided that I'm going to stop working on it. I'm not going to reveal anything else about the game, and I've asked other people involved to never divulge anything either. It's just going to be not talked about.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah,
I like
get
him.
it.
He's
You
a
know,
great
it's
guy.
fine.
He's generous. He is determined. He came up from nothing, and I don't give a shit if anybody's mad. He's doing what he feels he needs to do.
Everything I've seen online is everybody supporting him, saying that he's doing the right thing. If your heart isn't in it, then don't do it. That's going to ultimately result in a worse game, and you can be working on better things that you care about.
Exactly.
Is the way it goes. As Mike was saying, he's very generous. Zach, Scott Cawthon donated $6,000 to us during Extra Life 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing.
That's crazy.
Also,
Right,
Children's
that's what
Hospital
we
of
said.
Philadelphia. It was unbelievable. We didn't think it was real at first. We were like, somebody's posing as Scott Cawthon, somebody's
That's wild.
duping us right now, and then we found out it was really him. So that guy is always
Yeah,
going to be
I
cool
mean,
in our book.
Yeah, and I kind of hate that people get hate for stuff like this. Like, the
Right.
gaming industry can be or gaming consumers can be such a vile and terrible group of people.
It's true.
I'm going to change your wording because I feel like at this point, especially after the stuff that's come out with Rick and Morty for season 3, I'm going to say nerds in general, the nerd
Yeah.
culture
Yeah,
community.
Yeah.
Well, their expectations are very unrealistic, where it's just like, give me, give me, give me, give me. And it's like, but you still want quality, and you will just slam down on anything on the internet for not reaching your expectations of quality. but then you want it now, and you can't have both. You just can't.
Right.
And you know, I feel the guy, like, he's been doing the same game over and over and over again. That's gotta just
exactly
really hurt after a while. And then, you know, like, you know, and I'm sure that pressure he's talking about, like, you know, like, no matter what I do, it's not going to live up to their expectations. So why even put myself through this hell?
And what he's done, really, when you think about it, being pretty much a one-man team, it's unbelievable to do 5 games in such a short amount of time. And also on top of that, all of the merchandising, like Five Nights at Freddy's is huge, especially with young children, which I don't quite understand. But like, all my little cousins love Five Nights at Freddy's.
My Danny's cousin, who's I think 7.
Yeah.
8? No, he's 8. He's a year older than her.
I guess it's the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic thing or whatever. But either way, just the guy has put so much of his life into the series, and I think he deserves a claim, really, for how hard he's worked to deliver to the fans. And mostly what I've seen is the people that love the series and love him saying, cool, man, do you, this is the right thing to do. And I'm happy to see that, because you're right, the gaming culture and nerd culture in general can be so vile sometimes. It's really unfortunate, but that's not what I'm seeing here for the most part.
Right.
But anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, real passion for Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy might lead to other things. GameIndustry.biz writes, "We are experimenting with Clash," quote from Hirschberg,
I think is his name.
Says, he said, "We know there's a vocal fan base that wanted to come back, but you never know if that is emblematic of a larger audience or just this niche, nostalgia-based community. So far, we are seeing some real passion for it, so that could lead to other things. Of course, we are always trying to find the next big thing, but our first priority is to make sure we're servicing the communities that we are already lucky enough to have." There is a question to go along with this.
Yes.
One that I don't like, but I will read it off anyway. Do you feel like you are a spineless jellyfish and the remake is more difficult than the original? Answer A, for yes, the game feels and plays differently. B, it plays differently but isn't more difficult. C, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. It's the exact same game. D, haven't played or don't care about the Crash remake. If you answer anything other than C, you're a bitch.
Well, hold on a sec here. Hold on, man. I was looking at a video online. Somebody put together a comparison video, and he's saying that the difference is that Crash Bandicoot falls faster.
Yes,
in the remake.
The physics in the remake were actually tweaked with but to a minor extent to actually make for a more controllable game character in platforming. Back then, Crash was far more floaty. Yeah. So if you perfected, for God knows what reason, Crash on PS1 on an actual PS1 console, props to you, but I don't know why you bothered doing that. This is definitely more of how a platformer should feel.
Yeah, I haven't played Crash in a very, very long time, but I did play the first game in the remaster trilogy, and I thought it felt so good. I thought it felt tight. It was better than I ever remembered it. And I had no problems with it as far as a difficulty standpoint goes. I was flying through the game. So
you know Danny has an issue playing video games.
Danny is Mike's daughter, Zach,
yes.
by the way.
She has an issue playing video games. She doesn't grasp controls. Danny was playing and winning Crash Bandicoot. If you cannot win
Good
this,
for her.
You are worse than a unskilled 7-year-old.
Zach has a problem.
Have you played it?
Huh? Yeah, I have it.
Okay, how far have you gotten? Because there are many people in this studio who've been playing it, and some of them I would consider actually amazing at platformers. And there have been levels that have kept them up all night long, and you hear them yelling and screaming at the TV.
I've beaten the first 3 areas in Warped and just beat Ripperoo in 1, so I haven't touched 2 yet.
So you were skipping around.
I was skipping around. I wanted to play 3 because I felt Danny actually would like that bit, which she did.
Right, Deathmaster 436, the bridge, that fucking bridge. Everyone here has been stuck on that bridge. Of course, they're all trying to like 100% everything and get all their like.
Right.
Wait, is that the bridge with the icy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I beat that on my second try.
Yeah, it's not as hard. That's what I'm saying. You're explaining exactly.
I'm not trying to act like I'm
right.
Like
No.
A great gamer.
But that's where I've been like losing my mind.
These motherfuckers saying that they can beat that on the second try, and you've been up all night.
I love this.
I'll be completely honest with you. It might have been my third try. But you can check my archive. I honestly went through that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't know if it was.
But maybe I got lucky. I don't know.
Are you collecting all the gems? Are you getting all the boxes?
I did not get all the boxes.
So you're just beating it.
I did get most of the boxes. Yes. Here's the thing. I was my first night with the game. I didn't even actually buy the game. Mike let me borrow it, so I was doing like a launch stream for it. And I was just going through it. I wasn't, going to replay levels and try and collect boxes and all that kind of stuff. And I was just kind of flowing. I was just going through it and enjoying myself. And I had a few spots where I hit snags and I died 6 times in a row and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, by the end of it, I had like 29 lives and I was just kind of flying through. And I was just kind of confused. Everybody in the chat was like, "This is so difficult." And I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now.
I don't know, guys.
But right now, I'm kind of feeling this. I just was in the zone.
Maybe it's because you've been playing so much of Ori.
I was in the zone, man. I was just that night was good for me. I felt it. I'm feeling this. That's how I felt that night. But I'm not. I'm not gonna act like the game. I haven't played 2 and 3, and I heard those are the ones especially that get difficult. So
Really, I heard that 1 was actually the worst.
oh, maybe I'm wrong. Who
Yeah,
knows?
I think 2 is. Everybody's saying 2 feels perfect. 3 is goofy, but it feels all right, and 1 is the hardest right now.
Well, let's see what our chat had to say. Let me put the poll up on screen. As far as you guys goes, number 2 got the most votes, and what was that one? That is, it plays differently, but isn't more difficult, is what most of our chat is saying.
Yeah.
40%. But there is a vote for everything else as well. I don't know. Whatever.
The
Either
only one
way,
that
even if
really
it's difficult,
sucks is the Roadhog one.
Come here.
The only one that really sucks to me is the Roadhog, the second Roadhog one in Warps. Getting those boxes and winning is nigh impossible to me.
here's the thing, like Zach, even though it's difficult, are you enjoying it? Is Adam enjoying it?
Oh shit!
I don't know,
Derek
Adam.
just clipped it for you.
Okay. They're saying that the bridge level is actually really easy, and they beat it on their second try.
If you walk across the ropes that hold the bridge up.
How did you just walk across?
No,
the,
I just
you
I
got
just,
through the level. He just said it was easy.
I'm sorry? Is that what I have to do? Do I have to apologize? I'm sorry, Adam.
20 years, give me a break.
I
No,
apologize.
he
for
was
my
up till
skills.
5. He was up till 5 in the morning on that one level. It's fine.
I might, I might be exaggerating. It might not have been my second try. I feel like somebody's gonna go back in the archive now and prove me wrong, and I'm gonna feel like such an asshole. But it did. I'll tell you one thing. It didn't take me until 5 a.m. It probably took me about 10 minutes at the most because I got it done in my 2-hour stream that I was doing with the game. But anyway, I'm going to tell you right now, Zach, that I apologize for what's about to happen in just a few moments for my singing voice.
Oh Jesus Christ, dude!
I apologize. I asked the chat, if my viewers, if they didn't want me to do this, and they said no, you got to do it. And I'm
Really?
like, all right, I'll do it.
I thought we were done with this.
I'll be ready! Oh, don't you fear! Forever and always, I'm always here! Yeah!
So was there a backing track on that you were playing?
Yes.
Oh, that's so
You did not hear the
amazing.
backing track, which that's why I
Okay.
apologize to you.
No, I was hoping that they heard what I heard.
They pretty much did.
That's
but-
called delay watch. Every time we get a new delay on the show, we do delay watch, and it's the
Cool,
it's the
cool.
Baywatch music. But anyway, this isn't even a true delay, but it might turn
Right.
into one because supposedly PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the early access is not getting done as quickly as they expected. It's not going to be done for the end of the year. So now the question becomes, with it just being announced at the Microsoft conference coming to Xbox One and Xbox One X this year, do we still think it's going to make that release date, or if it's going to get
Nope.
pushed back?
Nope.
What do you think, Zach?
It's gonna get pushed back for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Are you into PUBG, as some people
You know,
call
I
it?
haven't had time to play it yet, and that's purposeful because I know it's one of those things. If I start, it's
Sink
going to
into
affect
it.
too much of my workload. So,
Right.
the part of the reason I only play indie games right now is time management, and something I can like play for an hour and walk away from and get back to work. So I've been avoiding it purposely, but I know a lot of people here have been talking about it a lot. And we definitely know all the updates going on there.
You are just like me, man, when it comes to like the indie stuff. I'm the same exact way with like a daughter and also trying to put together the show and all that kind of stuff. I only have 6 hours a week about to play video games, so I love playing the short indie stuff. I'm trying to tackle the backlog, but I'm still with you. I love playing the short, focused games. I feel like I get the most enjoyment out of that now.
I'm a degenerate gamer addict, so this game is right up my alley.
Yeah, I'm sure you would love.
I'm dying to get into it. Like,
Well,
I
the question
really
is, does
wanna
it come to
play
PS4? You know?
Right, and honestly, I don't care. I'm going to play it on PC.
Oh,
I mean,
right, yeah.
I'm going to play it on PS4 if it comes to it, right? But I'm definitely going to be playing.
Do you
on
think it's
PC.
going to come to PS4? Start with you, Zach. Do you think it's going to come to PS4?
Eventually.
I bet it will eventually. I mean, they're putting a lot I mean, just the display they're putting up at every con, you know, like at PAX and E3 and everything else. Like they're going all out. They're going all out.
This game blew up in general. Like people's attention are geared towards this game right now. Whether they love it or hate it, it doesn't matter. People have their eyes on this game.
That was a big win at the Xbox conference. Yeah.
Oh, it absolutely was. Yeah.
People were very happy with that announcement. But we did put a poll in the chat for you guys, and the question was, of course, do you feel like there's going to be a delay to the Xbox version? A being yes till 2018, or no, it'll still come out this year. But most of you guys, about 75%, are saying that it will get delayed into 2018. I'm inclined to agree with that.
Unless Microsoft ties this into their whole Xbox everywhere kind of thing. Because if they do that, then the system that they're currently building it on is the exact same system that the Xbox One is running. So it might not. If they are doing the Xbox Everywhere system, it could release at the same time, just for the sake of that cross-platform stuff.
And they could pose it as, technically, there's no reason you couldn't, and then they've done it, do early access games.
That's what I was just going to ask. Does Xbox have experience with early access stuff in the past? I don't have an Xbox.
Systems in general, me, Dean, and Rick were part of early access for Marvel Heroes.
That's true, but I almost consider that more like a beta.
Yeah,
is that
that beta for Marvel Heroes has been forever.
Right.
Well, they finally released Marvel Heroes
Omega, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so they had the early, which is technically a beta, but these companies will do the early access things.
Right.
So I think there's a chance for it. One of your guys said, Alien Knitter said it's on Steam, so it's not play anywhere. That said, it doesn't mean
as
anything.
early access, right? But I know when Microsoft was showing it at the conference, it was it was shown as one of their Xbox exclusives, which was really clever wording that they were using to say, oh, and also on PC, which I thought was interesting.
That said, the only thing to go with that, though, is that could be the issue that they're running into, is making it run on their Play Anywhere platform or any of the other platforms that is not what they built from the ground up. Because, it was a small team. It's getting bigger and bigger, but it's still only a few guys.
I hope it does come, because even I'm interested, actually, in trying that out. It's not typically my kind of game, but I'm trying to be more experimental with my streams. Like, people want me to try other things and get outside my comfort zone, and PUBG totally seems like outside of my comfort zone. So I'm not against giving it a shot. But anyway, we're going to move on to our trailer of the week. Zach, I posted a link in the outline for you. We have not watched, or at least I haven't watched.
I did, only because I saw Spider-Man.
Okay. It was
I saw it at Spider-Man as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you don't mind, I have not seen the Jumanji 2 trailer yet, and a lot of people are telling me to watch it. Maybe for jokish reasons.
I avoided it because I didn't want to watch it. I had no choice. When I saw Spider-Man, I was not displeased.
Okay. I'm excited to check this out. Let's check out this trailer for Jumanji 2, Welcome to the Jungle, which I did not realize it had a whole 2 system going on.
Group. Welcome to
you didn't know that Guns N' Roses was involved, right?
Right.
Martha, you're all here for a reason.
Hey, person walking!
You should be thinking about who you are and who you want to be. You'll have plenty of time to figure that out while you're cleaning out the basement.
Are you gonna help, or are you too pretty?
I'm too pretty.
Yo, what's this?
A game for those who seek to find a way to
Oh, this is different than I was expecting. Okay.
That's what
Jumanji. You pick a character and you're that person in the game.
Which one do I pick?
I don't think it matters that much.
Moose Finbar. Sounds like a badass.
I'll be the curvy genius.
Dr. Smolder Bravestone.
Guess I'm Ruby Roundhouse.
Okay, I can see why people were telling me to watch this.
Guys. Oh, they.
Where's the rest of me?
Oh my God. Fridge?
Yeah, I'm Fridge. Who are you?
It's me, Spencer.
Who is she?
Martha?
Why am I wearing half a shirt and short shorts in the jungle?
I think we got sucked into Jumanji and we become the avatars.
Oh, so that's the explanation for why she's dressed that way.
Oh.
Wait, Bethany, don't look at it!
I'm an overweight middle-aged man. I don't have my Claritin, and all I see around here is pollen.
Well, I don't have the top 2 feet of my body!
Damn, that is a man right there. Don't cry, don't cry. Don't cry. It's gonna be okay. This is a video game, which means we all have special skills.
You even had the Uncharted poster.
That was so intense. I can't even with this place.
Watch your step in here.
What? This is not what I was expecting. Okay, I'll be honest.
What? That old game machine must have electrocuted us an hour ago. Oh my God! You better get in there and save her.
I'm not gonna get in there. You get in there.
I got a backpack on. You don't get in water with a backpack. Everybody knows that.
I'll admit, it looks better than I thought it would. I was expecting the worst from that.
Alien Dinner said it perfectly. I'm less unhappy with this than I expected to be. That was my
I'm not gonna
reaction.
act like it's gonna be this great movie, but just by the fact alone that it incorporates video games, that's something that's going to intrigue our user base and the video game culture. Were you at all pleasantly surprised by that, Zach?
I think the video game aspect was the part that actually disappointed me the most.
Really?
Oh, maybe not the video game aspect. I think it's more, for me, what I found most interesting about the original Jumanji, that you were taking the world of someplace else and bringing it into our world.
Right.
And by doing this, it does feel like it's going to that kind of like no stakes improv acting kind of scenario where it's just like, well, let's just put these actors in this situation and there's no stakes really, and they can just improv their way around it. Because it does feel like I love the idea of like taking that world and putting it in our world, and then the whole world's reacting to it, and like, you know, those kids were so out of their element in the original movie.
Right.
You know, going into a video game is something we have seen before numerous times. So you know, it does look funny though.
At least they're
funny.
sticking as far away from the Robin Williams one as possible as they should. That was, I think, one of our biggest fears, is that they were going to do some type of, you know, disservice to the legacy of Robin Williams and all that. But it feels like it's far separated. I don't know if they're going to try and do some corny homage or something like that. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I don't know. I'm not like saying that I think it looks great. I'm saying that I am happier than I thought I would be, just because I thought it was going to be absolutely awful looking, and it looks decent, maybe even a little bit funny.
Yeah, it does look funny.
I'll keep it
going to be a Netflix movie for me.
Right? Yeah, I would never see this in theaters. No, yeah, I agree with that for sure. I would never see this in theaters unless it blows everybody away and it's got like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes and everybody's just completely shocked.
But it's going to be Baywatch.
Right? Yeah, probably. It probably will be like Baywatch, which did not do well at all, and I haven't seen yet. But
sad. That said, you know how someone points out something and you can't unsee it?
Right.
Why does our camera look crooked?
Because the seat leans down on your end.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm fat, guys. I'm bringing the couch down. Sorry.
What were you going to say, Zach? Sorry.
Oh, I like one of those, as a moviegoer, there's certain things that aren't necessarily guilty pleasures, just pleasures. Like if a movie's got Jason Statham in it, I'm going to see it. I don't care if it's bad or not. I'm going to see it. And if a movie has Kevin Hart and The Rock together in it, I'm going to see it. I've seen all of them. I'll go. It's not something I'll see in theaters, but I'm going to watch any movie that
I like that it's not a guilty pleasure for you because you feel no guilt at all about it.
Like Central Intelligence. I enjoyed that. I had
fun
fun watching that.
I laughed my ass off on that. It's fun.
I still haven't watched it. You've been telling me to watch it for a while now. It's on HBO. I still haven't watched it. But anyway, let me zoom out here. All right, moving on. Again, we're going to skip commercial breaks. We're going to do our first video game giveaway of the night. It's for Armello. Have you heard of this one? Indie stuff.
Oh yeah, I had the developer on one time.
Oh wow,
Australia. Nice. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Could you tell me a little bit about Armello? Because actually, I don't have any experience with it.
Well, it's kind of like a card-based turn game. Oh yeah, you guys just got a subscription. CLast33, rad. I think last time I played it was 2 years ago when it was in beta. So I know there's been massive updates since then. But it was fun when we played it. You know, like if you like your card turn-based strategy games, it's good. It's really good.
Very nice. So we're going to start a raffle to you guys in the chat. It is 100 XP per ticket, and you can buy up to 25 tickets. I know you guys have a lot of XP at this point, especially people that subbed. You get 500 XP automatically and all that. So anybody who wants to take part in the raffle, go ahead right now. Also, I should mention that this is courtesy of Tobes, one of our viewers. He sent this game to me as a part of his Humble Bundle as a gift. So thank you so much to Tobes29340. Pretty much all of the games we've been giving away recently are from our viewers. They've been so nice. They've been just giving games away to us to give away on the show. We have like the best community. They're just the best. Seriously, because we don't have any games to give away.
Right? We used to.
We
that
used
was a
to.
great time.
It'd be nice if that's probably what Zach's life was like. They just throw shit at you, right, Zach?
Sometimes, yeah, and yeah.
Give it away or play it.
Just give it away. Give it away. Just give it away. And Humble Bundle's been killing it lately too.
Yeah, they've been getting a lot of
their
really
game
good
releases have been really good lately. That
Yeah.
Humble Monthly has been really great.
All right, I'll let that run for a little while, just in case anybody needs some time to enter into that.
Wasn't this game supposed to be free on the PS4 if we voted for it?
Ooh, you might be right on that. I think I remember that. Was that one of those?
I remember this. I think this is one of the ones that we voted against because we are heathens, and the game that we got.
I think you might be right there.
No, you know what? We got broke for us. Never mind. I take it back.
But either way, they stopped doing that. PlayStation did this thing where the PlayStation Plus games of the month, they allowed for like 3 months the gamers to vote on what games they would be, and then it just disappeared. I completely forgot about that.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. I forgot. Yeah.
They only did it for like 3 months. I guess it didn't work out that well for
Right,
them.
yeah, I guess maybe people
But
weren't
Armello
voting.
was one of them. You're right, and it did not get voted for, so it wasn't a part of the PlayStation Plus.
Well, they also had to give you a discount on the other games that you didn't get, so they were probably getting discounts on, making partnerships and deals with these companies and not really getting anything from it.
Yeah.
So,
let's do a prize wheel spin
Prize
for,
wheel.
I think it was Silas, right?
yeah, Silas 3-3.
Running out of stuff on the wheel here.
Right?
We've got so many people subbing tonight. It's unusual. But we are going to give some XP to the chat, which is convenient. So if you guys don't have any XP, you can now take part in the raffle giveaway if you would really like Armello.
Well, Brian confirmed it was a game to vote for.
It was. Okay, very cool. All right, moving on. Let's get back into the level update. You're up with the next story,
Let's do
Mike.
that, and I am. PlayStation now has added 20 PS4 games to its service. PlayStation Blog writes, we're excited to announce as of today, PlayStation Now library now includes PS4 games. This lineup is just a start, as we'll add more PS4 games in the coming months alongside our regular monthly content drops. The games that are on there are as follows: Killzone Shadowfall, God of War 3 Remaster, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected, where you can shoot a giant dildo into somebody's butt, apparently, WWE 2K16, Tropico 5, don't play it, it sucks, and I hate that game, and I'll never touch it again, F1 2015, Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition,
Yes.
Evolve, we're not getting into that one, MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore, that's a lot of words, Resogun,
Yes!
Helldivers, also great game, Broken Age, also great game, Death Nation.
You're on fire, man.
I am, dude. I am killing it. Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition, Grim Fandango Remastered, there we go, Guilty Gear XRD Sign, Castle of Storm Definitive Edition, Exist Archive, Arcania Complete, Nidhogg, and Super Mega Baseball.
That's a decent start.
It's actually
I
a pretty
wanna
good start.
say,
There's a lot of good.
yes.
I mean, there's a few AAA games on there. For the shit that I gave it, Tropico 5 is beloved by a lot of people.
Killzone, a launch title for PS4, reviewed
Right.
pretty well. God of War 3 Remastered, pretty solid.
Grim Fandango, one of the best games ever made.
Resogun, still one of the best games on PS4 in my opinion. Any of those stick out at you, Zach, as being nice choices?
Helldivers sounds awesome.
Have you ever played it?
Really cool. Oh yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. Broken Age, Nidhogg, all those are great. I'm really curious because have you guys actually used this service?
Yes,
we have. We used it for
how does it
Trophy
play?
Wars.
How does it play on PC?
Well, I haven't done it on PC.
Actually, I haven't done it on PC. I've done it only on PS4. What happened was we do something every so often, or at least used to, called the Trophy War, where we just go all out and try and beat each other as far as trophy score goes. And for that, we decided to use PlayStation Now because it had a 7-day free trial, and there was a whole bunch of games on there that were just
3 months. It was
super easy trophy games. And I was very surprised at how
smooth
the service was. Yeah, there was very, very little lag. The quality, the resolution and all that, image quality is definitely lower. You will notice that.
Depending on the game.
I mean, and we have a 150 megabit download here, so I don't think it really gets any better as far as the quality.
I mean, technically
goes.
it does. You can go to gigabit.
Yeah, I'm just saying as far as what they want for the service.
Right,
That's what they require a certain amount, and we're way above that. So I think it was the best it could get, and I was just impressed with the lag. It was very minimal lag. The video quality was just a little bit lower than I would have liked.
Cool.
But yeah, I think it's a cool service. I think that Xbox with their new, what's it called, Games something. It's kind of like Netflix for gaming that they just announced.
Yeah. It wasn't Games something. I think it was.
Whatever it's called, I feel like that is going to be a strong competitor to PlayStation Now and might force them to change their structure.
I think it's going to be better. I think it's actually going to run better. I think it's going to be a better service.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, PlayStation Now hasn't taken off as far as I can tell.
They really underuse it. I mean, it's Sony. It's typical Sony where they just undersell it.
These are steps in the right direction, though. I mean, adding PS4 games on there.
It's taken a long time.
And
they only are doing it, I think, because of Xbox.
I mean, God, they announced Gaikai, the acquisition of Gaikai at
PS3.
PS4's reveal, I think, is when they announced it, right?
No, well, I mean, I think they did an official thing. I think it was still being done on the PS3 because they had started working on the stuff. Me and you, there was a kickback to a conversation we had on Facebook from 2011. So it was before PS4.
And these are the fruits of that labor. I mean, Gaikai led to PlayStation Now, so I don't know if it turned out to be as great as they thought.
Game Pass.
Game Pass, thank you. Xbox Game Pass is the new like Netflix version for gaming that they're doing. I think it's great. I hope Sony follows suit. I think it'd be smart for them to do that. Zach, you know what? Why don't you take the next story? You cool with that?
Yeah, man, I'm good with that. So this is the Playdead co-founder gives more details on his departure from studio.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. The Playdead co-founder Dino Patti has shed additional light on why he decided to leave the Limbo and Inside developer, which really bums me out because Limbo and Inside are two of my favorite indie games of all time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Patti announced his departure from Playdead last year, and at the time said he made the decision so he could seek new challenges. Speaking to Eurogamer, Patti has since shared a bit more information regarding why he left. So he said there was some kind of fallout. It is kind of delicate, and it's also combined with other personal reasons, which really sucks. That said, Patti was adamant that he still loves Playdead and the people at the studio, noting that he's on speaking terms with 98% of the people there. That's a very specific, there's somebody there that is just, fuck that guy.
You look it up online, how many people are at Playdead, and it's 50 people.
Right.
So clearly there's one person.
One person. Yep. He went on to add that it was just time to do something else, and he found a way to do it where he could do whatever he wanted afterwards. It's a real bummer for me. I mean, Inside just blew us away.
That was one of my favorite games of last year.
Is it really a bummer? Because it sucks when you see relationships devolve.
Right.
You've been there.
Yeah.
You know, that said, when second party now creates another studio with their talent, now you have the possibility of two games at the same time of the same quality. You also have the possibility for the games being terrible from here on out because it's not two creative sources of the same level.
I think the question becomes like, how responsible was Dino Patti for the excellence that is Limbo and Inside? I mean, it doesn't come down to one person. I don't know off the top of my head how big Playdead is. I know that they're relatively small, but still, like, Dino Patti was a big part of that studio. And I would imagine that he had a lot of input on those games. So maybe he's taking those talents and creating a studio that's going to be just as good. That's the hope, right? They're working on something. I know that they've revealed a teaser image for what Playdead is working on, and we know that Dino Patti
or something like that, right?
I'm not sure, but Dino Patti's working on Somerville, the thing we just saw on screen right now, which looks interesting from a visual standpoint. But that's really all we have to go off of right now. Right. But I'll be there because I'm there for anything that Playdead does, and I'm there for anything that Dino Patti does because
it was monetary issues that they had, right? Or so it was alluded to that at least.
I think so, but I don't want to misspeak. I do think it was, somewhat related.
By the way, Silas, our recent subscriber, Doug.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
our friend Doug.
Yeah, he just
from school. Very nice. That's very nice of him.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of your guys.
Our friend from school.
Yeah. How else am I going to say it? He's our friend from school.
Our friend.
I don't know how else to say it.
Period. Done.
But anyway, since you are the big Overwatch guy here, Mike, and I am not at all interested in Overwatch.
Oh boy, Doomfist is finally coming to Overwatch. It is not Terry Crews. Equipped with charisma and ambition, Doomfist is a consummate tactician and one of the leaders. I'm not going to go through all of this, but guys, Doomfist is finally hitting Overwatch. It's been rumored for a long time.
Tell me his moveset. What has he got?
So it's actually kind of an interesting, and it's one of the more unique ones that they've brought to it. Very close quarters and almost completely melee. So up until now, with the exception of one character, Reinhardt, everybody else had decent long-range weapons, including Reinhardt himself, who could, throw his hammer up and, throw kind of like an arc of energy at characters. Doomfist is interesting because he has a shotgun essentially attached to his arm, and it has a giant spread, so it's not going to be, you know, good for long range or even medium range. It's only going to be good for close quarters. But most of his stuff is based around his abilities, and he has one. It's kind of a cool moveset. So he has one where he does a rocket punch, where he jumps up, you know, goes out at the character, you know, and hits them. And you know, does like an uppercut to them.
Right.
There's another one where he can slam his fist into the ground.
Yeah, you see some of that on the anime that they put together.
Right,
here,
he
which
slams
is
his fist
cool.
into the ground, and then he brings all the characters closer to him. And then he can actually, I'm sorry, that's when he can do the uppercut. The uppercut is not connected to the rocket punch. That's where I was wrong. But what is interesting is his ultimate is extremely, like right now is, people don't know how to counter it because they don't know how to anticipate it. So he goes into, you know, almost like a camera mode. You don't really even control him. You just control the area, and you place a marker, you know, a general area down, and he just jumps in the air and slams down and brings meteors crashing with him and hits everybody inside that bubble.
Sounds pretty badass.
It's intense.
But I know a few people aren't too happy with it, and that's why I'm going to start this poll right now. I know specifically Kelly, who's our big Overwatch fan.
She said she's not happy with it?
She said that he feels squishy.
Okay, well, he is. So here's the issue is we weren't expecting him to be a DPS. So this is going to be how deep we're going to get into this. But no one was expecting him to be a DPS at all. We don't need another DPS really for the Overwatch.
Yeah, this is just Overwatch nerdery right now to me.
But realistically,
Zach, do you know what we're even like? Do you know Overwatch?
I played so much of it when it was in beta, and then the second it went live, I haven't played any. But I know enough. I know enough.
Right. So we were expecting him to be either a tank or, you know, at the very least a defense. DPS was like the third choice. He wasn't going to be a support, but no one really expected it. So for him to be as squishy, because he only has 400 health. But what's interesting is he does gain health as he attacks, similar to how Reaper does it now, I believe. If I remember right, that's what he's doing. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's gaining power as
I think attacking. I did read that, yeah.
I haven't played him yet. He doesn't come out for us until probably Tuesday.
Wait, I thought people have been playing him now.
Like... Right, on the PTS, player test server.
Oh, okay.
So it's only on PC. You have to elect into it, so consoles and everything like that can't get into it yet. So I haven't touched him yet, but I'm going off of the, you know, 3 or 4 hours of videos I've watched of him.
Right.
But so it's weird because he's really close quarters, so you really need to be able... The biggest issue people have is that there's no way for him to get away. Every other character, for the most part, has a way to get away. Tracer has the ability to warp ahead in time, you know, and kind of teleport himself forward. Reaper can go into this, like, smoky state, you know, and get him, like, ghost state and, you know, get himself out of, you know, combat. Every character, for the most part, has a way to get himself out. He does not. So if you charge in with your abilities, you know, namely using Rocket Punch to get in there, there's no way for you to get out because Rocket Punch is your only escape. So the only way to really utilize him, you know, intelligently right now is to pair him up with a Zarya. Just so you can get the bubble right at the very end. You each call out when you're going to die, bubble you up, get yourself out of there if you can, and then hope for the best.
You are right about the ability.
Yeah, so he gets 250 health and gets shield for his hits. Max is 400. So there
As for the poll, we were asking guys how you feel about him. A lot of people voting for, hey, he looks great. Happy to see another melee-focused hero. There are a few people that do think he feels squishy, though.
Right.
And a lot of people that don't care about Overwatch, which is kind of surprising.
Care about
Yeah, because I feel like that game is just so big. Everybody's talking about the game. Everybody's watching the videos. I want to talk about one thing,
and the entry to him, their intro video. Every other character, when they got
the anime
one, that was easily one of the coolest things that they've released. I've liked all the other videos that
they've all been CGI other than that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This was the first one that was, you know, animated, and I agree with everybody else. I never knew I wanted an Overwatch anime before.
Yeah, it looked so good.
It
looked so good.
Especially with Castlevania, with Netflix anime, and now Assassin's Creed being confirmed.
It could very well be coming. You know, they wanted to keep it close to what it would appear like in the comics, because the comics are really the lore that's being carried out right now.
A few people messaged me and said, do you think we'll ever get a Netflix Overwatch series?
That'd be awesome, dude. I don't know. I'd subscribe again just to thank them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we could get some type of series from them, but why not just put it on YouTube as they've already been doing?
Yeah, I don't think Blizzard would do that. They're just so protective of their IP and
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Someone said Terry Crews deserved better. Listen, I don't like this answer because, and I'll tell you why. And I was really big into wanting Terry Crews in the game, but the character that they made for Doomfist did not fit Terry Crews.
No.
So I want Terry Crews in the game. I don't care at this point. I never really cared what he was in the game because it was like always is he really going to be a character?
Wait, let me stop you there. So Terry Crews isn't yet in Overwatch, but people want him in Overwatch.
So people wanted him in Overwatch to where it was retweet. He said something about it. He was retweeted by multiple people, big celebrities too, including I think The Rock even retweeted it, just to give a nod to it.
Okay.
But Terry Crews has been getting really into gaming to bond with his kids. He built a PC
Crackdown 3
around the same time we did. Right, Crackdown 3. So he had been, it was talked about, he had actually gone to Blizzard Studios to tour. So the theory was that he was working with a contract with them. He could be doing announcer stuff. There's a Summer Games event coming. He could be doing another character. He could be doing promotional videos. We don't know what he's going to be doing. I would assume
that guy's personality makes sense for most video games.
Yeah.
Like Beyond. There's a character that Terry Crews can play.
Right.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to see Terry Crews in Overwatch, even just as like a video series, just to see him as a part of it.
Right.
That guy's the best. All right, and that's it for the level update. Let's do some rapid fire here and finish off the night with these quick stories. This is the rapid fire news roundup.
Cool.
First up, father of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi. Final Fantasy is my favorite series, as I think some of you guys might have guessed already.
No way.
He did this short little Twitter video where I'm not sure who the guy was, but asked him. He was like, Hironobu Sakaguchi, father of Final Fantasy here. He's got something to say. And Gooch just comes out and says, 9 is the best.
That's awesome.
And then he takes some money off of the guy, puts it in his shirt, and walks away. So the question, I guess, is, was he paid off to say this? Or jokingly paid off to say this? Or like, does he actually think 9 is the best Final Fantasy? I love 7, but 9 is my second favorite of all time, so I am totally with him if 9 is his favorite. I love 9 so much, and I think he's telling the truth. I've heard him in the past talk about how 9 is very important to him, how it goes back to the roots, how he loves the soundtrack, and it's his favorite. So I think he's telling the truth. I think 9 is the father of Final Fantasy's favorite Final Fantasy.
Could very well be.
Sounds to me like a joke.
It probably is, and
Sounds
it isn't.
to me
Right?
like it's just a joke, and the joke's on you, and he's probably like, it's the worst.
Final Fantasy 13 is probably the best.
I don't stop. You're speaking in blasphemy. Let me pause this real quick. Do you play any of the Final Fantasy games, Zach?
Just the newest one, and that's just because my fiance was like, she's played all of them, and they're her favorite game series of all time. And then when that one came out, she was like, we have to play it. So we played that one. But
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
No, I did. I liked it. I mean, I didn't finish it. I don't finish any games though, but you know.
You again are so much like me.
Yeah, I just don't have time.
Yeah,
We'll start playing it. I'm like, no, can't. Okay, this was cool. Bye.
Did you play the Mass Effect series, Zach?
Okay, well, you know, there was the whole conversation earlier about like what disappointed you the most.
Oh my God! Please, yes.
Oh God, Andromeda. I can't do it, man.
Oh,
What about the rest of the series? Are you cool with the rest of the series?
Yeah, I even like 3. Okay.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
on your own,
totally
buddy.
okay.
Enjoy that boat.
I started with the first game though. I've never played the Mass Effect series, and
Started last year.
Our viewers have been desperate to get me to play Mass Effect. So I started with the first game, and I thought it was so bad. I thought it was terrible. I hated it. I hated my entire experience with that.
I understand that, like, you gotta go. For me, when the first one came out, it was unique, but then everyone's done it. Everyone's copied that kind of style. The second one I thought was groundbreaking and just unreal. I really liked the third one.
Do you think that I missed the boat? Is that all it is? Like,
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm a sci-fi guy, and for me, like, that was my kind of story. I got really into it. I got so involved. I loved it so much. I was okay with the shitty ending of 3 because I don't mind if a story is not what I want. Like, I'm cool with it. I was so okay with it when they were like, here's your options. Like, you know what? I'm comfortable with this. This is the story they wanted to tell me.
Right.
I'm okay with this. I'm okay with not liking because I don't think every story has to make me feel good on the inside. And I was super into it. But then the new one came out, and I was like, this is shit. I hated every minute of it. I couldn't. I got like 10 minutes in. I was like, "What the fuck is happening? I don't like any of this."
It was so clearly their
so
B
mad.
team, and their A team went on to do Anthem. Clearly,
Right.
Yeah, very clearly after you see that Anthem trailer, like, "Oh, what's up?" That's
Yeah.
cool. It's really cool.
Wonder what happened here. I wonder who's working on this one and who worked on Andromeda. Come on now, like seriously, they might as well just call. No, I'm not.
You haven't played Mass Effect 2?
No. Okay, here's the thing, Zach. I hated 1 so much that I could not bring myself to play 2.
It's, I think, one of the best video games of all time.
I'm not against someday getting to it, but I was so burned by the first game that I need to wash the taste of that game out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I need to give some distance to that. And maybe someday I'm streaming, you know, 3-4 days a week now. There's a possibility that I can actually dip into the backlog and get to Mass Effect 2 eventually.
I mean, it's still gonna feel outdated to you. Definitely, if you're gonna play it, download some of the res packs. Like, get the mods, download the res packs, download the lighting, you know, upgrades and stuff like that the mod community has come out, and that'll help a little bit. Because the game does feel somewhat empty on a playthrough, like now, you know, like when you look at modern games of like this, you know, they're just so filled with life, you know, and this one feels kind of empty on hindsight, but it's like the storytelling to me is just.
I like Chum's answer. That's like trying to get into Final Fantasy by playing Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, it's dated.
Point.
Yeah, and even though I think Final Fantasy 1 has a charm to it, yeah, I would never tell somebody to get into the Final Fantasy series with Final Fantasy 1.
And but I don't disagree with you on 1. Like, I never played 1 until after I finished 2 and 3. I started with 2, and when I started 2, I did the comic book update to pick my decisions.
That's what people told me to do.
And then I did 2 first, and I did 3, and I loved them so much I went back and played 1, which is cool to go back, because then once you love the story, you're like, oh, this is where this came from, and all these things. But it's, yeah, I don't think it's a great game, the first one. It's maybe for the time it had some really groundbreaking stuff, but when you go back and play it, it does not hold up well, which I recently did too.
You like driving in that game a lot.
On 1?
No, wait, he's being sarcastic, of course.
Okay, it's the fucking worst.
Some of the best parts of my streams were when I was driving the Mako, just because I was so frustrated, and I just was screaming at the screen, like, how dare they make me even pick up this thing? Like, this is ridiculous.
Before I replayed 1, I downloaded the hack that allows you to fast forward through elevator rides. And it also allows you to just fast forward whenever you want. So anytime I was in the vehicle, I was just fast forwarding through that shit. just
I didn't think of it until now, but 100% you're right. The elevator stuff was just the worst. Like, what the hell was that? That's like Jack and Daxter days when you had to use the elevator for load times. Like, no, come on, we're past this shit now. Moving on. That was the longest rapid fire news roundup ever for a story. Moving quickly, we already discussed this a little bit, but Assassin's Creed is getting a Netflix series, and it's going to be anime like Castlevania, which I heard is really good.
I'm liking this area that they're going with these animated shorts and TV shows and everything. When they were talking about doing all these games as TV shows or movies, this is exactly how they should be carried out.
Yeah,
and the anime style I think carries out perfectly well.
Very cool. After that,
you made an audio clip for a pterodactyl Andrew.
I didn't choose to. Somebody told me to because they got the audio hook on the prize.
That is
so
absolutely
they got it.
terrible.
I can't deny the prize.
I don't like that.
Also, Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a new Game Plus mode. Also added difficulties and trophies to go along with that. A lot of people are really excited about it. That they're continuing to support the series. We got the DLC coming out later this year.
Yeah.
That's so that was the game I would have picked for the biggest surprise. That so far is my game of the year. I'm really bummed I haven't been able to finish it, but everything in that game blew me away. And we've been playing it on the PS4 Pro, and it just looks fucking gorgeous. And I was not prepared for how good that game was. I was so hyped for Mass Effect, and I was like hyped so much for it, and then that game kind of slipped in under the radar and blew me away, and it's great. So good.
Did you play on a 4K TV, Zach?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't have a 4K yet, but I did play 1080p with the PS4 Pro, and even on that, oh my god, that game is just unbelievable. It doesn't even make sense. It's wizardry.
To somebody else, and I think I figured out why. And I think the issue was I started Zelda around the same time I started Horizon.
See, I did too, and it made me hate Zelda.
See, I'm the opposite. I actually love Zelda.
I was so bored by Zelda.
See, I am not. I was bored with Horizon, and I stopped halfway through. I only just recently got to the big city. What a turn of events we got here. That's very interesting. I like that.
Totally flipped, because I couldn't get into Zelda because like this feels so empty and lifeless to me, whereas Horizon felt like such a living and breathing world, and like it just felt like it had movement and life to it. Every time I'd come over a hill, it was a beautiful, picturesque environment, and it was the most level designed open world game I've ever played. Most open world games all suffer from this, just like, you know, there's too much.
Right. I agree.
And you just have this emptiness, you know, and you don't feel like this world is lived in and that it has a life to it. And that game to me the fact that it found ways to manipulate you to go where it wanted you to go, to give you the scene it wants you to see, I thought was brilliant. Like, the level design was just unreal. It was like knowing you're going to pick this route. So when we get you to this ledge, you're going to see this scenery that we planned for you to see, whereas most open world games aren't as good at doing that.
Yeah, and that's like the thing. It's not just like the life of like human beings in the world. Like that game, you don't need to see a whole bunch of other people inhabiting this world. It's just the fact that the life of like the plant life and the wildlife, if you want to call it that, like the everything there, just it makes it feel like no matter where you go within the world, there's a screenshot to take. Like that's why I remember when that game released, just the abundance of screenshots everybody was posting on Twitter, because you can't go anywhere in that game without wanting to pull out photo mode.
As far as visuals, Horizon is probably the best game that's released this year. Easily. Like I will not argue that for graphical quality. That said, I like the graphical style that Breath of the Wild has. I am one of those people. I like simplistic art style, so it's kind of a cross between, more advanced but also the basic design element. That said, what I've realized is I'm just bored of that genre, I think. I played so many Far Cry games. Far Cry Primal was very close to feeling like Horizon in different ways. And I'll agree, like the way that they handle people, characters and guiding you and everything like that was different. It still was the same type of game. But to me, Zelda was unique. It took a typical RPG, but also took a Zelda game and kind of meshed them together to make a unique hybrid that no one else has really done.
It's what people have been asking for such a long time.
And it's funny because I mocked it, and I remember one of the things, like we mocked everything, like, oh, they have side quests, oh, they have that, and we mocked all these things, like your horse will avoid trees and everything. But one of the things that I mocked that I actually regret mocking now is when what's his name was just so in awe by climbing things, and he said he kept climbing trees over and over again. Right. And it didn't hit me until I've been playing the game, and I love how you climb in that game. Like other games like Skyrim and everything like that, you have to jump up rocks and this and that and manipulate the bugs and where they put the level design and everything in the terrain and everything like that to get up a mountain. In Zelda, you can pretty much climb everything or do whatever you want. Like they thought this through. Everything is just like it's polished, like a Nintendo product should be.
As far as the world design goes and the emptiness, what it reminds me of is Shadow of the Colossus. But Shadow of the Colossus is a 12-hour game, and the purpose of it is to travel from location to location and fight these enormous beasts and feel the desolation of the world. And it works for Shadow of the Colossus. My fear is that with Zelda, with it being this massive 50 to 100 hour RPG, that emptiness, like for you, Zach, would get to me. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I do hope to someday.
I don't have enough time to play games, so I need to. Yeah, it's just. But that being said, I never finished Event. Right, I loved
Horizon
it.
Zero Dawn,
yeah, I haven't had time, and I want to, but I know I'm never going to be able to finish it, and it really bums me out.
Yeah. And lastly, the final story, real quick. No game over screens are going to be in Super Mario Odyssey.
I thought this was interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It kind of, in a sense, it feels like they're dumbing down the game, but their explanation for it kind of makes sense at the same time. That they want to keep you in the world, and they have this kind of currency now to it with the hat. It makes sense, but at the same time, like that's a staple of the Mario franchise to have lives and to die and to get a game over screen. So it is changing things up. I wonder if it's going to bother people. Does it bother you at all, Zach?
Nah, I'm indifferent. I should have an opinion, but I don't.
See, I do, and it's just, I don't know if I'm going to be correct. And one of my issues, and the reason why I didn't really play very much of Mario 3D World, is they keep making these games simpler and simpler to attract a younger audience. And I get that. You want to attract these people because there are other systems where it's selling well, but make good core games like you used to. Make them challenging, make them fun, make them accessible, but don't dumb them down. And this, to me, is concerning, just because I feel like it is another step towards dumbing down these games.
I get a concern, but at the same time, this is the next big Mario game. It is Nintendo first party. They rarely fail us. And I from what I've seen, I've checked out the gameplay videos. I think it looks so good. I think it looks amazing. I'm really excited for that. And I don't think I'll get to Switch this year, but when I do, that's definitely one of the games I'll be picking up.
Dean finally got his. I'm excited for him to start playing.
Yeah. All right, moving on. One more community-focused segment of the show. It is called... Let me back up here. It's called On the Spot. Every week, you guys can go on our Discord and you can submit a hard-hitting question for us to answer live on the show. This week, our question comes from...
There it is.
Dear the Level Up Show, what was the one that got away? The game you had and loved, but never got a chance to finish. Was it lost after lending it to someone and never got it back? Was it stolen by a villainous stranger or friend? Or was it lost in a shuffle after a relocation? This came from Jose Munster, also known as Job32X within our chat. Really great question. I really like this question a lot. Zach, do you have an answer to this?
Repeat just the main part of the question there for me.
It's about a game that got away from you, like one that you really loved and you were into, but maybe just something came up. Maybe it was stolen from you. Who knows? Like, was there ever a game like that for you that you wish you could have gone back to?
Yeah, and it's gonna sound real dumb.
We have a lot of those.
When I was in high school and I finally got a Super Nintendo, the video game Spawn for Super Nintendo, which was not by any means to me a good game. I got really into it. I wanted to finish it, and I let a friend borrow it, and I never saw it again. And it really pissed me off. And it was one of those things I just kept asking that friend, you know, even years later, like, hey, man, still got that game? Oh, never got it back. Now, like, I have it back here. Like, we have it. I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna finish it. But that really pissed me off in high school because I had spent a long time trying to beat it, and I refused to look up any tips. I refused to look up any like help aids or anything like that. And like the other day though, we did have some people on stream playing it, and someone was in the chat room telling them like, "Oh, you just need to do this for this one thing." And I was like, "Oh, I would have never beat that game. I would have never beat it because I never thought that you could do things like that in the game. Like there were little strategies that I never even came across, and I was like, well, shit."
I mean, that was like the nature of games back then. Like they were only 3 hours long, right? And they didn't have save files, so the thing they would do to make games have longevity is make it so you die constantly and have to restart from the beginning.
Hard.
Yeah, make them insanely difficult. And some people look back on that fondly, but at the same time, like I think it's just it's like a remnant of the past,
right?
That I could never go back to personally. I don't think there's a few games that kind of emulate that nature nowadays, but
right? Not
too many. You get them here and there. Right. You have one. I'm not really thinking of one.
I have 1.5.
You have one and a half.
I have one legitimate one, and that one was back on the DS.
Okay.
And it was Pokemon Diamond. And I had gotten nearly all the way to the end, and my DS was stolen.
Really?
Yes, that was a slew. That was the start of many.
You've had many things stolen from you. Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So I that was one of those because I mean, with Pokemon games and everything like the RPGs and everything, how they are, you'll put hours and hours and hours into it. So I probably put, I don't know, a good 12 to 20 odd hours into it to get to the point that I was at. I don't grind as much as some people, but I did put a good amount of time. So that one was one of those lost. And after that, I was like, I'm not going back. I'm not playing this again.
Yeah. Too much.
And I could now. I have the they have the emulators and everything like that on the 3DS and stuff, but I'm not going back to it. The half almost ended. It was actually, funny enough, my first platinum. When I was
Diablo.
Yeah, you remember this.
I remember.
I was mad because I was going. So I was backstory. I was going for my first platinum. I never got a platinum before. I always finished to maybe at most 82% or something like that, and then never cared enough. And then these guys got me caring about platinums and stuff like that a little bit. So I go, and Diablo is a game that I put a ridiculous amount of time into. Like that game, in Diablo 3 alone, I probably put accumulation of everything. I'm gonna say at least 400 to 500 hours. Into.
Wow. Holy crap, dude.
Because I played it on PC, I played it on Xbox 360, I played it on PS3, and then I played it on
I don't know if I could
PS4.
ever forgive myself for putting that much time into a game.
And so I played the hell out of that game. So I went and I was most of the way there, but there's a grinding part, and one of the things you have to do is create a hardcore. Did you ever play Diablo?
Yes.
So for those that haven't, you have to create a hardcore character and get them ranked all the way up. And then you have to beat certain bosses on it. Now, dummy me wasn't doing it the correct way, and I was doing it on a harder mode just to make it fun. So I got all the way up, and I got most of the way to the end, and I thought I was going to get it. I died, so I kept restarting. I kept going back, and I finally did it. And this one trophy took me at least, I would say, 20 odd hours to go for. And then my system was stolen, and my system hadn't backed up for the last 2 months.
So you lost it all.
So I lost all of that trophy progress, and I almost didn't go back to it.
And you did, though. You went back to it. Wow,
I
that's impressive, man.
Yeah.
I would never do that, personally.
That's why it was my first platinum, because I wanted to make it, something.
I mean, I've got so many games that like are on my backlog that I've never finished that I wish I did finish. Nothing that really like stands out as being like this one that got away, right? Majora's Mask comes out in my head. Like I played a lot of Majora's Mask back on N64, but I rented it back in the days of Blockbuster, and I returned it, and just I never went through.
Never
it
enough
again.
time. Never enough time with those old rentals, man.
Another one for me is like Dead Space. Actually, I've really enjoyed Dead Space, but I never finished it. What else is on my shelf there? Grand Theft Auto 5. Really enjoyed Grand Theft Auto 5. Was really enjoying the story. Probably got about 75% way through that. But things came up. Life finds a way.
Life got in the way. Life stole it away from me.
Finds a way. So yeah, things just got in the way. But there's a lot. There's a lot of games on that shelf over there that I should finish and I would like to finish. But
I really hate that I have to always look at Heavenly Sword, though. Can we switch it up a little bit?
Yeah, you're right. I agree with that. Heavenly Sword is just right on that shelf, front and center, and that's just not a game that should be seen. Yeah, I will agree with you there. But Majora's Mask on 3DS, as Grace says, warm coat. I do not have a 3DS. I'm kind of done with handhelds, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'll ever go back to getting handhelds. I'm just not that kind of gamer. It's a difference
of thing. Like the Switch, I think, is the closest thing that you'll get to wanting a handheld again.
Yeah, the Switch is this weird thing to me. Like that is a handheld in my opinion.
I honestly am very eager to see Dean's, like assertion on, just to see if he does play it in handheld mode more often than he thought he would. Yeah. Because I get
a lot of shit for this, Zach. I feel like the Switch is not a console, at least in the normal.
I don't either.
It is a handheld that you can connect to your TV.
I have hooked it up to the TV twice since I got it, and that was only to stream it. If I'm playing it, it's handheld. Always.
I would say 80+. Actually, no, probably closer to 90% of the way I play is handheld with the Switch.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what I would do, honestly. I think I would be the opposite. I'm the guy that would keep it in the dock all the time because I don't play things handheld. I play things on the big screen.
I'll tell you right now, I think you would, and I think
you would too.
Like it's one of those. I don't either. I don't look at how much I touch my Vita. Look at how much I even touch my 3DS.
Yeah.
The Switch is a weird beast, and it's almost like it talks to you and speaks to you and tells me, "Grab me, caress me, hold me close."
Well, that being said, I can't stand the way it holds handheld. Actually,
yes, because I feel like
it makes my thumbs go numb after a little bit, like holding it like that. But but I do find myself playing it more than any handheld console I've ever had before because there's something about how quickly the games boot up and how it is for a Nintendo system the simplest, no bullshit system of just I hit the button, I can go right back to wherever I last was. That's like my absolute favorite part of this.
Well, even though it isn't quickly. I was gonna say, even though it isn't a home console, it is what people wanted for so long from Nintendo. For them to just go back kind of to the roots of gaming and just make a console that's about a controller with buttons, tactile feedback. And that's it, you know? We're tired of motion controls and things being focused on gimmicks and this and that. Even though there is a gimmick to the Switch, in the end, it is a handheld. It's a controller. It has buttons. And you can play games the way you used to play games. And that's nice. It's classic Nintendo in that way. Yeah. So, no, I think I will get one day. I just don't know when. Thank you so much to the question from Job32X. Very fine question there.
Job.
We are going to move on to subscriber-only chats for the remainder of the show, and that is because you guys are going to be able to ask questions here to Zach, as long as he's okay with it. Zach, are you okay with questions from our chat here?
Sure.
We're going to do a Q&A with Zac of Hyper RPG. Let me put us in subscribers only here, if I could spell it right. Jesus.
What?
Oh, man, we just got a tip as well.
Fell asleep.
Nice.
Thank you so much to the $10 tip. We will we'll do a prize we'll spend for that there while we wait for a question for Zach. Feel free to post your questions, guys.
Yeah, and they can feel free to ask questions about Twitch or whatever.
Life. About you being a con artist?
Con artist.
Well, I do a show weekly called Honesty Hour. You'd be amazed what kind of questions I've been asked and had to get into. I actually stopped doing it more. It used to be just like super heavy, serious, like let's talk about life. And then I shared everything, and I was like, we're done.
Right, I got nothing else.
Shared everything. I got nothing else other than living life week to week now. So it was interesting. Kind of ran out of material there, but answered a lot of questions on the internet.
While we're waiting for questions,
no shame.
First, congratulations to Synthesizer for the Armello code. I will send that to you after the show, man. Also, we are going to do the final prize wheel segment here for you. It's called Favorites, and this is rapid fire here, Zach. I'm going to ask you 10 different favorite questions, and you are going to have to go with your gut, man. No pause, just go with it. All right? Favorite video game console?
Console?
Yep. Home console.
Favorite video game console is going to be PS4.
Favorite video game handheld?
Nintendo Switch.
Favorite video game villain? Hero. Sorry, hero.
Hero?
Hero first.
Oh, Spider-Man, but that just falls in line for everything.
Dean's going to like you a lot. Favorite video game villain?
Oh, sorry, your audio cut out. Can you give me that one more time?
Favorite video game villain?
Favorite video game villain? Ooh, even on a gut standing, I'm gonna say the Flood from Halo as an overall villain of the game.
Very interesting. Favorite video game soundtrack or score?
That's also gonna be Halo.
That's a good choice. That's a very good choice.
Yeah, that's gonna be Halo. That's one that I put on in the background every once in a while. Dun, 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 dun.
Love it. Yeah.
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun.
Even like the opera at the beginning.
Memories.
Yep.
Favorite video game weapon or gadgets?
Ooh, that's a really fucking tough one. Favorite video game weapon or gadget? Shit. Can I say Amazing Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 2 web slingers?
That's
like
fine.
Web shooters.
A lot of people are very fond of the controls in that game back in the day.
Yeah.
Favorite video game boss battle?
Oh man, these are tough because I don't get to play video games as much as I want anymore.
Feel free to dip back into the oldies.
I'm gonna say the Reaper's Mass Effect 2.
Okay. Favorite video game opening, and that could be like an opening cutscene or just even like the opening act.
Mass Effect 3 opening.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. It went downhill from there, but that opening was legit.
And what about video game ending?
Oh. This is a really, really tough one because I can only probably, on one hand, how many games I've finished in my life, given my never finishing games. You know what? I'm gonna say Half-Life 2, probably.
Okay. And finally, your favorite video game of all time.
Of all time.
All time.
You know, it's gonna be.
I like the thought.
I like Vantera. Any Colossus or Shadow Colossus? The Last of Us? I don't like this guy.
You never finished them.
Real life's busy, dude. Real life's really busy. It's the point with running a Twitch studio. You never have time to play games. You're just watching other people play them.
I'm with you. I'm like that too.
You know, Mass Effect 2 is going to be it. I've played it probably 4 times all the way through, and I can't say that for any other game ever. So
I thought for a moment
that's just
earlier,
like playing through. That's just like playing through to get the different options, and I've never been compelled to do that in my life, and I did it there.
This is so backwards to what I was expecting, because earlier in the show, you gave me this inkling, this hope that there was going to be somebody else out there that hates the Mass Effect series, and I was about to latch onto you, man. And then
you can't say that you hate the Mass Effect series if you haven't played 2. That's saying you don't like Mass Effect 1, which a lot of people are going to go, yeah, okay.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, you were right there. I've never played 2, except for the first hour. I played a demo on PS3 way back in the day. I played the first hour, which also seemed pretty cool, but it was just a demo. So someday I'm going to do it, just because. I feel like I have to now. It's getting ridiculous. It's becoming this running joke that I have to fight someday. But it's not going to be anytime soon. It's not going to be this year. I'll tell you guys that. All right. Did I miss any
So we got some questions. Go up a little bit.
Well, it couldn't be before this.
Stop. Right there.
What does Zach think of body pillows?
That's a trick question.
Is it?
That's a trick question. Oh, yeah.
Why is that?
I know the people who are probably asking that question. There's a body pillow of me, and it's a stupid running joke that they're just going to keep bringing up. So we'll just move on from that.
Jeez. Shut down. Let's see. Have you ever played Shadow of the Colossus or Last of Us since we were on?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. Not even close to finishing either one of them.
Wow.
Jeez.
I've played the first hour of so many games. So many games. The first hour.
Zach, if you could remaster any game from any old console with 4K graphics, what game would it be?
4K.
Or 4K. That's good too.
Oh, well, since I already brought up Amazing Spider-Man 2, or the Spider-Man 2 game on PS2, that would be phenomenal. Okay. But I'm also worried, like how much nostalgia is clouding my judgment on all that. I have a weird place with remastered games because, especially at E3 recently, there were a lot of remastered games that Malika and I stopped and played. And, it's like, you're like, cool, high-res textures for something that was never meant to be in high-res.
Right,
It just doesn't feel right, if you're not doing a complete system overhaul from the ground up,
It would have to be like Crash Bandicoot.
Right, yeah. You're doing like a full. You're not just like stretching out the polygons to making them crisp and and the anti-aliasing. So, it's tough because I think we all say we want it, and then you see it, and you're like, I don't know.
I could have been okay without this.
Yeah, it could have been okay, but there's some that might, like Red Dead Redemption would be awesome. With just updated graphics, because there was so much to the mechanics of that were so great, and that world was so beautiful already that I think just like an overhaul of the system would be really cool. That'd be really great.
Derek asked, Zach, what code name did you use, if you used one, when you were a con artist?
No code names. There were no names ever mentioned.
Ooh.
Ever.
Smart. That's the way to go.
Right.
I feel like I should direct this next one to Vantera too, because he's like, someone not having finished Last of Us, Shadow of the Colossus. I could name so many comic books and movies that you've never seen or never heard of, but we're not gonna nerd off, dude.
Right.
No, I get the same way sometimes. Like people get on me for not finishing things during my streams or this and that. Like for instance, very recently, I can talk about one, Metro. When Metro was announced at E3,
oh man,
Dean and I did a reaction, and we thought it looked awesome. Metro Exodus looked so cool. We did a reaction. Our reaction video on YouTube got slammed so hard because everyone was like, "You've never played Metro 2033 and Last Light? How do you even call yourself a gamer?"
Yeah,
right. And the worst part of it all is we were so excited. We were like, "This looks great.
Really
we have to go back and play."
Positive on the whole thing.
Like we need to go back and play Metro. This looks so good. And then all the fans were ripping us apart for never playing.
I got words for those people. I played Metro 2033. It was subpar. It was okay. It was decent for certain things, but if you think it's one of the greatest games of all time, I don't know what games you've been playing. So
I started playing it.
Well,
it's okay.
They were groundbreaking, like graphically when they came out.
Right, when they came out.
It was like Crysis, on the PC. Like you were pushing your system to the absolute limits, and
absolutely.
And there was some great stuff in there, but I would have to agree. Like, it was really good, but
Right, there was nothing to write home about because there was other games that did similar things.
Yeah.
To Joe, he's saying it hurts him just because those are two great games. I think the thing is that I'm kind of sensing about you, Zach, is you're more of a comic book guy than you are a video game guy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Just because you're on Twitch doesn't mean you're a hardcore gamer. Like that's,
I don't have time to be. I mean, that's the big thing too. First and foremost, I'm a producer and a storyteller. So I watch other people play games all day.
Right.
We're doing like 60 hours of content a week. So I've watched lots of other people beat games and play games, but I myself have to be the one that produces their content, keeps things entertaining, all that good stuff. So I don't have time. That's the sad reality of this stuff. I know a lot about games. I mean, my fiance is a game developer. We talk about games constantly.
Oh, that's cool.
We work a lot with people in the gaming industry. I'm very fortunate that I get to work a lot with game companies, advising them on techniques that they could use for Twitch integration and from a consultation standpoint. And like telling them like these are the tools you can use, these are ways and things that you can do to get a a kickback and stuff like that. He's allowed to critique me all he wants to. I don't care. He's not going to hurt my ego.
Right.
No, Joey's a good guy.
Right, he's a good guy.
Critique me all you want.
He's trolling hard right now. And
Joey's a nice guy.
Interesting way. But there's a lot of people, and it's the same thing that people think like, oh, I'm going to be a video game tester. Like, dude, you will hate every point of your existence in video games. Like, I don't understand why that's glorified.
That's a rough job.
Before we go back to a question from the chat, can I ask you, is there anything that I would know that your fiance has developed?
Probably not.
Indie stuff?
She's worked on some indie games, some mobile games. She's made a lot of her own personal projects. I don't know. She might. I don't know. She works a lot in the indie game. I mean, she worked with Hairbrained Schemes for a little while, working on Necropolis and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
and worked on some mobile games. But now she works at 2-Bit Circus, which is like this company that makes like theme parks and big experiences and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. That's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good
Dean
stuff.
asked, as a fellow Spider-Man fan, what did you think of the movie?
Oh, I fucking loved it. It was like my shit. That was.
Was it the best one yet, in your opinion?
Oh yeah. For me, I've been reading Spider-Man my whole life. Like that's what taught me to read. That's what taught me to draw. Oh man, that it got me in the feels. Got me in the feels hardcore.
Do you see a decent amount of movies, or is it like I go once a year type thing for you?
What's that?
Do you see a decent amount of movies, or is it like a once a year type thing? Okay, so let me say this then, because this is my opinion. I loved it, and as for a Spider-Man movie, I thought it was definitely the best, and for the universe, it was absolutely the best by far. The best characters, the best sense of Queens and what it's supposed to feel like in Spider-Man realm. I thought the movie was good, but I thought the pacing was pretty meh.
The pacing to me was really interesting and I could say, like, as a Spider-Man fan, this hit every note for me. As a filmmaker, the pacing was very strange, and it felt more like a TV show or a cartoon, even to an extent. Like, it almost felt more like. Yeah, it almost felt more like Spectacular Spider-Man the cartoon, but I was so okay with that because I know everything about the Spider-Man universe already. So them just throwing it in, spending, like the beginning, the first 30, 40 minutes of the movie especially was barely a movie. It's like it's just a collection of scenes, but that's what I wanted. So I was happy.
Exactly, and it's one of those things where I like Spider-Man a lot. I love him. He is definitely at the top of my favorite comic characters, but I was never nearly as into him as Dean or our buddy Rick or you were. So to me, it was really awesome seeing something that I've read in comics here and there, watched a lot of cartoons for, and everything, and see it in real life. Like, that was ideal for me. Like, that was a perfect realm. That said, the movie just was. I didn't like the movie because, like you said, as a filmmaker, it was very odd to me. It just felt there was something. Yeah. There was something not right there.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, actually, but I
still
hope
think,
next week.
As a film, it still had better emotional beats than any Spider-Man movie except maybe 2. And 2 has good moments, script-wise and plotting-wise. But as a whole, I think... Perfect, like, there's so many things. But as a whole, like, I will never enjoy that movie as much as this one, just for the base elements of who Peter Parker is and that experience I've been waiting to see for so long. I love 2. I love 2 a lot. But this
We're talking about Spider-Man, not Amazing Spider-Man, right?
Oh, no, Amazing Spider-Man never happened in my eyes. It's just a shit stain on the record of... Andrew Garfield will never be Peter Parker to me. He is way too cool. He's way too handsome.
As Peter Parker, no. As Spider-Man, I think Andrew Garfield delivered so well.
I think Tom Holland's a pretty handsome guy, too.
Dick. I was so mad, too, because I was like, this guy's just a dick. He's just picking on criminals. He's literally a dick to people. It's like... I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Like, oh my god, you found my fear, tiny knives. Like, that was.
I get what he's saying though. Like, Andrew Garfield was not the Peter Parker that I imagined. That's for sure. Tom Holland is the Peter Parker.
Tom Holland was.
Yeah,
he was.
He's
everything I've been waiting for, and the supporting cast was amazing, and just, I think for me this was the most mature Marvel movie we've had yet, and and it's. Not like the content, just from a storytelling angle. Marvel's had this real bad problem with winking at the camera way too much. And if they're going to show you something, they're going to have somebody type into a computer, and here's a bunch of shield files. Now, here's your nail on the head of like, oh, look at this name, look at this guy. Like we're serving you all of this fan service on a platter, and it all comes off really heavy-handed. I still like a lot of it, but I was excited to see that Marvel finally said, okay, this is a world that we're going to live in it. And they're not going to like bombard you over the fucking head with exposition on it. They just showed it to you. And this, I think, is the first Marvel film that just showed rather than told. And there were so many things in this where you just, if you're a diehard fan, you see and you're freaking out about, but it doesn't change your experience if you're not, because they're just showing it. I mean, the little things, like him being on a building and somebody yelling, hey, do a backflip. Like stuff like that. Like, this is a lived-in, living and breathing world, and nobody's done that in a Marvel movie yet. They're also like, here's a set stage. Here's a set, it feels like it's its own little contained little nook, that the rest of the world isn't reacting to. And it was really cool to see a film finally acknowledge, like, there's people out here.
It's still real world. It's still
he's a street level. He's a street level hero.
Yeah, that sounds. That sounds really good. I'm excited to see
that guy's voice was
it.
Weird. Hey, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that looks so weird.
Anyway, Warmcoat asked you, since you're an indie game guy, you like those a lot. Any recommendations on indie games that Warmcoat should play?
I just started playing Cave Story on the Switch, and I'm loving it.
Are you? Is it worth the money? Because I know like everybody's been like,
For
oh, is it
me,
really worth
yes.
$20? Okay.
I was really turned off against it at first too, and I looked at it in the store for weeks. But now that I've actually bought it, I'm really liking it. I'm really liking it, and I know it's it's like Cave Story Plus, whatever. I just hadn't checked out before, but I'm really digging it. It's really fun, and it's a good time. I can't. I've been thinking about it a lot. Like I keep wanting to go back to it. I'm like, no, stay working. But
I'm debating grabbing it. It depends on how hectic my summer ends up being.
Job 32 X asked, "Are you into music? Do you have a favorite music album?"
Oh, I'm really, really into music. I'm one of those. I used to run a music venue in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh wow.
Really love music. As far as a favorite album, that's a really, really tough. Probably Benji by Sun Kill Moon would probably be my favorite album.
Okay.
It's depressing as shit, and my fiance calls it sad white guy music. So you're warned. Fair warning. Fair warning.
Let's see. Any others I missed here? Going down the list. Not seeing anything with a question mark. Here we go. Never mind.
Nope.
No, that's not a question to you.
Yeah, feel free. I mean, if you guys, given that they were saying like, oh, it's a gaming channel, like I'm down if you have questions about running a Twitch channel, or even if you guys do.
I was going to bring that up actually myself. That is kind of a question I have for you because you started off with Geekus Under. Was that your first channel on Twitch?
So when I started working with Greg Grunberg and the Socialtron Live guys, very quickly they kind of put me in a leadership position. Because I have one of those types of personalities that, for better or worse, I can't keep my mouth shut when I want to improve things.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept going like, you have so many opportunities. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. And they're like, okay, do it. So while I was there, I was taking a lot of notes and creating a lot of documents on what I thought Twitch could be. And what could be done with the platform in an experimental way. And that's what I ended up pitching to Felicia. I was working on a pilot. My production company had a pilot get picked up by Legendary Digital, and Felicia was one of the executive producers on it. And I was the lead producer and DP on that project. And we were like, while we were on set, I was like, oh, hey, I've seen you're streaming on Twitch. I just, did this. Let's talk. And then they were actually looking for a YouTube showrunner, and I got called in to interview for that. But while I was there, I was like, but let me pitch you this Twitch idea while I'm here, because I think you guys are primed and ready to do that, and I know Felicia cares about it. So they went for it, and like I said, I was originally hired to be their YouTube showrunner. And Twitch was just supposed to be my side project.
Okay.
So because I only had like $50K for 6 months was my budget, and if anyone's involved in media, starting off with like, I think we had 8 shows, all with actors, building a set, all that. That $50K was going to be gone. The 50K was going to be gone within. Like a couple weeks, honestly. If I was doing pre-production correctly, it would have been gone in pre-production. But instead of doing it correctly, I just slept in their studio and built the set myself with a friend. So to save money, we launched that, and luckily within a couple months it was profitable. But then it became like, oh, this is you just do this. You don't have time to do both. I was like, no, I don't, and this is working. And did that for a year, and I was always a private contractor for them, which was really weird, and it was really strange because it technically wasn't legal, because I was doing work that if I wasn't there, it would cease to exist. And in LA, like if you're a private contractor, the whole thing is if you're not replaceable, then you're not a private contractor. You are a full-time employee, and you should be. And it kept kind of hitting a wall there because I had, I was like, if I'm going to be full-time, I have demands that need to be met, and those were never met. And there was a lot of other issues behind the scenes we won't get into. And at the end of the day, I was like, I don't like working for a major corporation. Just wasn't for me. Wasn't for me. So while I was working there, I was very fortunate to meet, through my fiance, Jordan Weissman, who is the guy who created BattleTech, Shadowrun. He was the creative director of Xbox when Xbox first launched. He made Crimson Skies. He currently runs Harebrained Schemes with the new Shadowrun games and the new BattleTech that's coming out, and Necropolis and all that stuff. So I met him because he also created HeroClix and a bunch of tabletop games, and I used to have a HeroClix show on Geek and Sundry. He came out and decided, you know, while he was there, he was like, "Oh, this is really great. Would you want to run a company like this on your own with me?" I was like, "Well, fuck yeah."
Right.
Jeez.
100%. You mean I don't have to work for a giant corporation? Hell yeah, let's do this. So we kind of put a game plan together, and a lot of our visions aligned, because the start of what I had written out of what I wanted to do at Geek and Sundry, we were experimenting with, but I still had heavy limitations. You know, like a lot of their content, they wanted it to also work for YouTube, and I was not okay with that, because like that's not how this works. Like, if it's a live channel, it should be live for the, like, it should work primarily as live to really highlight those interactions and not be so concerned with YouTube video. And that created a lot of limitations that we couldn't really move around. So we came up with a business model that was very much inside the idea of collaborative storytelling with an audience and experimenting with that, because he had done a lot of stuff. He's a guy who writes role-playing games, so it was like, how do we bring that experience of sitting at a table with each other to a live platform? And that's our goal. Whether or not we hit it, or if this crazy idea ever works, we're still trying to figure that out. Would you say that
that's more the mission of like Hyper RPG and even Geek and Sundry when you were there? It was more about like the role playing than anything else, the storytelling, because you do gameplay every day pretty much, right? At 10 a.m. You play games.
Yeah, but we know, but we're completely aware that you are gonna probably watch someone else play games. You know, like there's people out there who that's what they do, and I don't even want to pretend we can compete with them, because that's just not what we do. You know, like we're
right there with
you know, it's like there's people out there who all they do is play games all day long, and that's their specialty. That's not our specialty. Ours
so it's about finding like a niche, right?
And knowing what you're good at too. You know, like, you know, if you're gonna, you know, to say again, I haven't finished any games. Our channel barely finishes any games. We're a variety channel, and if we pick up a game, it's usually to play with the community, to keep a community feeling going, because that's really important, you know, to make that connection. But not to say that you should watch us play games. We're so good.
Sure. Yeah.
That's not what we're here for. Usually, that's just to fill time, make the community feel good. The rest of the time, it's going to be some sort of passion project. I mean, that's our big thing. We want to only do things that we're passionate about. So we have a show that's about movies, you know, because they're passionate about it. We have a show where our hosts talk about Dragon Ball Super because they're passionate about it. And then most of our content, though, is based around role-playing games, different worlds, telling stories within those worlds, and how to get the audience involved in those stories. So
a lot of your success, as you're saying, it has to do a lot with passion and finding what you're good at and finding what you care about. But would you say that's enough, or would have been enough for you? Because one of the reasons that you were able to take off, it sounds like, is through some of the connections that you were able to make. Is that such a large part of finding success on Twitch, is building those connections? Or do you feel like it's possible to make it on your own, especially now with how saturated Twitch is?
Oh, I mean, this is a really interesting topic, because, you know, to the outside world, we look like we're doing it, you know? We're not even close. You know, like our overhead is between 40 to 50K a month. You know, that's our overhead just to break even. And we're not making that, you know? And I know Twitch would be upset with me saying these kinds of things, but fuck it. You know, like it's extremely, extremely difficult right now on the platform to get noticed, because it is oversaturated and their discoverability system is trash. And I know they're working on it, but just forcing people to click follow on a new app, those are dead followers. They're not going to come watch your channel. They're just saying, okay,
that's one of the things we're seeing. Like, I was wondering why we were getting so many follows the past 3 weeks, and I was like, are we getting a follow bot? What is going on here? These don't seem like real follows, because the people are following, and then I don't see them in the chat, and then I realized it's because the new Twitch app recommends people when they download it. So all these people are following us out of the recommendation.
Yeah, and a large portion we're going to unfollow too. Yeah, they're going to unfollow as well. But the thing is, when you follow 20 channels like that right off the bat, already you're creating this saturation problem with your own inbox, because when you log into Twitch, the way you find who you follow and if you should be watching them or not is already a bad system that's going to stack the people who have the most viewers at the top or based on the game they're playing and stuff like that. If you're doing something unique, like you guys are doing, or like what we're doing, there's still not a tabletop RPG section on Twitch, and they've been telling me for 2 years we're going to have one. I wouldn't have made my company an RPG focused channel had they not told me that they had an RPG channel on the way. It's like, I've invested so much money in this and I still don't have that. And it's like, and this is things we're learning with Twitch. They're trying to get to a point where they're like at a position to work with larger companies like us. Like we give our employees health insurance. You know, we have 40 some actors that we employ. Our overhead's really high, but it's really important to me that we treat people right that come through here, and nobody works for free, you know? But that doesn't mean Twitch can support that. Like as a platform,
they said
they have
why
a long
there isn't
way to grow.
Like a tabletop RPG section yet?
I get different answers, and I would be avoiding NDAs to say any more than that. But they it's frustrating because you put all this work into this stuff and you expect certain things, and they're good people though. What I will say, after working for YouTube for so long and doing things for big YouTube channels, man, like I do, even though Twitch has a lot of growing to do, the fact that when something fucks up, I can call somebody and actually hear back from somebody very quickly and have them be like, oh man, I'm sorry, you know, like that never happened with me at Google ever. So I will say that they're good people. They're just, the platform's in a really interesting position. As you guys know, how long have you guys been doing this show or streaming on Twitch?
We're just refreshing the camera real quick. Here we go. Yeah, we've been doing it 3.5 years. This is episode 177 here. And with us, we were fortunate in a way, and sometimes I don't even like to bring this up anymore because it feels like the dark days of the Level Up show. But we started off as being on the Playroom because when we first started streaming, like we didn't know anything about Twitch. We didn't we didn't know about this culture. We just saw that the PS4
Twitch or Ustream. Twitch seems more gamer friendly.
Called the Playroom, and Mike and I always wanted to do podcasting and all this kind of stuff, and we could never get anybody to watch it. Like, how do you get somebody to listen to your podcast? But we saw the Playroom, and we saw how many people were watching it, and we just got a couple of dining room chairs, sat in front of the camera,
bar stools, dude.
Bar stools,
more uncomfortable than that.
Held up a little 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with a Google call number on it, and we started taking calls, and we got like 500 viewers on Playroom, and we did that for like a year, and we got thousands and thousands of followers on Playroom, but they were those kind of empty follows. They were people that were just coming in, hitting that heart button, and that's it. But it gave us enough of a boost that it looked like we were successful, and that's why we were able to go to Twitch and be like, can we become a partner?
And like I even met a couple of the guys from Twitch at New York Comic Con, if anything, and that's actually, I think, one of the big turning points for everything is we felt like we were at a standstill. And I went and talked to these guys, and before I could even say anything, like he looked at me in a way, and then he recognized, he's like, oh, you're one of those guys from the Level Up show. Grabbed one of the other guys that was right there with him and said, you know, these are the guys that do the talk show, which was really cool, that people from Twitch. And I will say, knowing what I know about also, you know, a little bit bigger than that, the Amazon company, you know, they are as conglomerate, you know, based as they are, or, you know, as corporation based as they are, I should say, you know, and with, you know, acquiring other properties, Amazon, as corporate as they are geared, is very much about their people, about their product, about customer service first, you know, which is why people are very concerned with their stocks all the time and what they do with that. So
I'm a big fan of the way they're like trying to treat their clients. I think it's just they built their system in a way that's, you know, I think one of the unfortunate things is when you've rewarded certain people to a certain extent, you've made it impossible for you to change your platform to help the people that need help. You know, it's very easy to understand how if there are discussions going on, you're going to have people interjecting saying, no, you can't do that because that takes away from my numbers. And those are the people with power. And it's a messed up system. Like, you know, like running Critical Role was such an interesting experience because for better or worse, everyone wants that to be recreated, and it won't. It can't happen. It won't happen. It will never happen again. Twitch as a platform can't support that. And if you guys have been on Twitch for a couple years, I was going to say, like, if you look at your stats, you'll see a difference between the amount of random viewers coming to your chat room now compared to even a year ago. I could be doing something, you know, even if it's not a category, I would still see more random people come in the chat and be like, hey, what are you guys doing? What's going on here? This is kind of interesting. That hardly happens anymore because it's so oversaturated and you can't find the things that you might like because the system still only supports.
Is with Twitch, even with like the partners and stuff like that, we were trying to get a partner spotlight for the longest time, right? Because we felt like if we can get on the front page of Twitch for a full week, maybe we'll be able to get this influx of viewers, and it'll cause this snowball effect and all this kind of stuff. And even having you on, honestly, we're honored to have you on the show because you brought us to 150 viewers tonight, which we haven't hit in probably 2 years.
I'm bummed that we only got you up to that too. We usually don't broadcast on Sunday night, so
honestly, like we're so happy with the results tonight that we're getting so many new people, and you're getting subs, we're getting follows. It's all so great. But when I emailed this guy, I emailed partner help a dozen times trying to get a response, and never getting a response back. And then finally I started getting people, and they're like, oh no, you need 150 subs. You need 150 subs. And then I just kept emailing. I was like Andy Dufresne from Shawshank. I'm like, you know, just like, come on, give us a shot. And finally got a guy that actually looked at our channel. I guess the other guys didn't. And he's like, you know what, you guys... I recognize the quality here. I recognize what you guys are trying to do, and I do think that you would benefit greatly from a partner spotlight. So we're going to lower our goal for you to 80, and that's what happened, and that's why we started this goal 6 months ago to try and get to 80 subs. And it happened tonight with you being here. And now I'm going to email this guy, and hopefully we can get this partner spotlight scheduled.
And I hope it helps a lot. It is rough though. I know, like with what you guys are doing, I think you're in a really good position for it to really help. And we can talk offline about some tips that I won't share in here if you want. Like, hit me up and I'll share some 100%. Tips of like some stats that we've seen that can help you retain a little bit more from that. But those are tough now too, you know, like the difference between a year and a half ago. And the thing is, still, front page rotation is the only way now to get people to to discover your stuff, which sucks. That's a bad place to be in. You know, if you don't have a pre-established celebrity or you're on front page rotation, how else do you get found? Well, then you got to be part of the Twitch in crowd, and you got to be mingling with these like big Twitch streamers and having them raid you and host you and stuff like that. And you know, like, I don't have time for that shit. Like, who has time for that shit? It's and how do you get in, you know? And like, I think people sometimes think we're in that, and it's like, in a lot of ways we're very outside of that, because as a company, a lot of people assume that we're in a much different position. They assume that we have some big investors, or we've got, like, most companies like us are owned by somebody else. You know, Geek and Sundry's owned by, you know, Legendary, and you had all the companies that were owned by Maker, and, you know, IGN's owned by WB, and then you've got, you know, now the Attack is working with Disney, and they used to have, they used to be owned by Comic-Con HQ. So it's like, there's usually some overarching kind of thing, and they work hard for those things. But it creates this situation where these other streamers, other people in the community, they see us and they're like, "Oh, these guys are fine. They're fine."
Well, that's the thing,
and they don't realize that we're just like three friends that are running this crazy operation together from the ground up by just.
I mean, people ask us all the time, "Is this your full-time job?" I'm like, "Hell no, this is my full-time job." I'm an architect. Mike works in sales.
Well, it is my full-time job, 100%.
Right.
I think, you know, 16 to 18 hours a day, and we have 4 full-time employees here, including myself, and I'm really proud of that. You know, we were up to 6, but we had to downsize to 4 just because of costs, couldn't afford. But you know, it's interesting. I love Twitch for so many things, but it is a scary, scary, scary platform to invest in, because it's, I mean, it is very difficult to get noticed now, and it makes, like, when you find an audience, how important it is to hold on to them because of how hard it is to get new people watching. It's insane.
We feel very lucky about that. The community that we've had, especially in the last year, I feel has been just so positive and so dedicated. And
you
we
know,
love
these
every
guys are, you know, not fair weather people. They are always here every single week. When it's, you know, it's weird. Like I said earlier, you know, Kelly's not here when I read her question. It's weird to know that, you know, you always notice who's not here. When Review Guy came in, you notice that, you know, he's not here. So it's a lot more interesting than when it was as crazy as it was when we would get up to 500 people in the room. You know, because I don't know half of these people. That chat's going like ridiculously fast. I can't see everything they're saying. So it's a lot different now than it was then, but I like it in a way. And one of the things I think, you know, keeps us with it, and I know definitely keeps you, and even, you know, got me coming back and keeps me with it, is it's a passion. It's not, oh, we want to make it big. There's a lot of these people, and there's a certain type of, you know, person that exploits, you know, Twitch for what it is, and even YouTube. But they're doing it because they see it as a monetary thing. They see it because of this. And to us, up until recently, you know, like, and even, you know, all of our money that we get from these things goes back towards, you know, our channel. And it always has.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we invest, and everything is investment, the camera, and everything like that. Everything is to make it better for you guys, for our fans, for the people that watch. So because it's a passion, it never has felt like a chore. So yes, it's a, you know, it's a terrifying thing to invest in, but at the same time, because it's still our passion, it's not an investment.
Yeah, we wouldn't do it if we didn't love it. I mean, there's definitely an excitement to the game of making it on Twitch. Like, it's kind of like a game.
It's a meta.
It's, you know, I'm always looking at statistics. I'm always looking at what does well and what doesn't do well, and on which days, at which hours, and all that kind of stuff. There's a fun to the meta game.
There is, but it's also really depressing.
Yes,
you know?
right. It's like, depressing when you look at what does succeed,
or
sometimes.
When you realize that there's no rhyme or reason, you know. Like, I think the most depressing part for me is to see trends happen that you have no control over, to see, like, to stress so hard, you know. And it's like, in our position as a full-time company where all of our income is only based on doing this and making this work, like, if this doesn't work, I don't have a job. And I then can employ people that I hired and give them health insurance. Like, that's the thing that keeps me running all night long, is when I look at my employees and I'm like, oh shit, if we run out of money this month, they don't have health insurance anymore, you know. Like, oh fuck. So it creates this extra level of pressure, and you get so obsessed with the numbers, and then you start like, oh god, what are we doing wrong? What about this? What about that? What about this? And then you check on the, like, overall back end pinging to the network of Twitch itself from your area and see that it's lower than it's ever been before, and you're like, oh well, part of it has nothing to do with us. There's just less people watching right now.
Yeah, it wasn't until recently that we finally started climbing again. We were on this steady decline for the longest time, once we left the playroom, honestly. And we knew that was going to happen because we knew we were getting these kind of casual viewers just stopping in and hitting that heart button, and we knew that was going to happen. But we felt like, in order to bring the quality of the show up and start using XSplit and start using an actual you know, HD camera and all that, we wanted to make it feel more like an interactive talk show, and that's why we do the prize wheel now and all these random things, because that's the point. Like you said, if you're live, like, why even be here if you're not going to interact with the viewers? It's all about the live interaction. Go to YouTube if you want to just do a pre-recorded.
Well, I mean, that to me is the coolest thing about Twitch as a platform, and why I'm so excited for its future. And we hope that we get to be part of the cusp of that. And I know what's going to happen is we're, you know, and this is how anything happens in this industry. We'll push it, and we'll be the cusp, and then someone who's got millions more followers is going to see it, and they're going to do it, and that's when it will take off. But that's also fine. Like, that's just how this shit works. When I was at Geek and Sundry, I was a part of that machine. Not saying we took other people's ideas, but we were the type of influencers that had the power to say, oh, this is what things are now. Now we don't, obviously. So but we know that will happen, but we're excited to see where it goes, because as a platform, like, the fact that the API is open, you know, and the stuff that we've been able to write for our chat rooms API with some of our engineers is just, it's mind-blowing that we can even do that. We can be like, all right, what's a logic problem? How could we make this show more interactive? How could we make the audience more involved? What if we did this? And then a couple hours, it's like, holy shit, we can do that? We have the ability to take over
I would love
the code
for us to get to
like
that point
this?
And
the fact that you can even do that, I think that the sky's the limit. And I know about some other things that are being worked on behind the scenes that are just going to take that to a whole nother level. And I'm so excited for that stuff to come out. I think it's going to be really great.
Real quick, I don't want to come off the wrong way. To all the people in the chat, they're saying, I found you through the playroom. There's a ton of people. We've got probably a dozen or more people in the chat right now that found us through the playroom.
Original people, Rick, Johnny, Vantera, like, all those guys. You guys, and they did come from the playroom. Guitar Freak, everybody.
Thank you.
And it's not one of those things where, but there were like we said before, it went from an average, you know, within 3 months we were hitting 100 viewers every episode, and then, you know, all of a sudden we were hitting, you know, 200, and if we didn't get to 200 we were kind of bummed, like we didn't hit it. And then after that it kept growing to where we were consistently getting between 300 and 500. Now to get to that consistent 100, you guys are the core people. You guys are the core fans that
we prefer
really
it this way.
Right, I like it this way to an extent. I would love more of you. Like, if Rick could duplicate himself, if, you know, Johnny could duplicate himself, you know, Guitar Freak, Joey, everybody like that'd be great. More of you guys would be great. But, you know, it's one of those. It's not to say Playroom was, you know, useless, but it was definitely, to an extent, it had its limits.
But this is
sorry, go ahead.
And what's almost scary to me though. And this isn't me trying to, like, seeing how many of your people talking in the chat room saying, I found you on Playroom, I found you on Playroom, I found you on Playroom.
Right.
This to me is the scariest thing about Twitch right now.
Right.
Because 90% of my audience will say, I followed you from Geek and Sundry. I followed you from Geek and Sundry. And I've been running my channel for almost 2 years now.
Right.
And
you're not bringing in new people. You're still holding on to the old people.
Right.
And it's fucking terrifying with this platform that you can be grinding and still see no growth. And the people who are here love it, so you know you're doing something right. And it can be really disheartening because you're working so hard, and then you're just like, where the fuck is everybody? Why aren't they? It's still the same people every week, which is good. And you know, and the people who return every week, like you guys are rock stars because you're what allow these kinds of things to continue. But it gets really disheartening for the people making the content because you're just like, what do I have to do to get people to realize that other people enjoy this and they might too? And that's what Twitch has to work on. That's what Twitch has got to figure out.
Because like it seems like every single person that finds us for the first time, they all say in the chat like, how did I not know about this before?
Right.
Like we'll get that all the time, especially on YouTube even, because we'll archive our stuff on YouTube. They're like, how do I not know about you? How do you only have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube? And it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what we're doing wrong. I don't know what else we need to do to get more people to find us. We're looking at all the recommendations. We're looking at all the advice we can possibly find to get our name out there and get exposure. It's very, very difficult. Like, now that you've been on the show, Zach, you kind of see what we do and all that.
Yeah,
like, is there one thing that like you feel like we need to change or we need to do to kind of?
No, you guys are doing a great job. I mean, I'm sitting here like paying attention to like, oh, okay, you got the keyboard and lap, you got you got the XSplit stuff down.
Our prize wheel, Drew.
I'm taking your prize wheel. No, but like no, you guys are like, what's exciting about Twitch to me is like, this is the stuff I want to see. I want to see people who just have an idea and they enact on it and they take it a step further. I don't want to see people copying everyone else and just playing a game live on a platform. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to imply there's anything wrong with that. But what excites me is to see people start going like, okay, these tools are available now. What can we do with them? And and then finding out how they combine those tools in their own unique way to create something that's unique to their vision of what they want to do. That's the most exciting thing about Twitch to me. And you guys are doing that, and that's really cool.
How do you know though? Like
Playroom too. Like we really abused that. Like we manipulated Playroom to such an extent.
Yeah. Well, you have to. That's the thing. You got to try and find those little manipulations to get more people in. But one of my big questions is like, how do you know when it's the time to start putting more time in? When is the time to go full time? Like, when is the time to take that risk?
Not yet.
And go all
well,
in?
I mean, you can say not it. It will never be the time.
Right.
Like, honestly, you will never, ever be at a time where you're like, now's the time. Because life will always get in the way. It will always get in the way, and like, I'm not going to pretend at all that it's a smart decision. It has to, like you guys said, you're doing it for passion. That's 100% the only thing that you can have to do it, because there is no stepladder to success. It's too new, it's too random, it's too unpracticed. It's not like other industries. There's certain industries that we've been taught growing up, like if you work hard, you follow the right path, you impress the right people, you'll do fine. You'll make it. Anything in the entertainment industry outside of filmmaking, which in a lot of ways is following a stepladder that has years of proper things that you got to follow. If you decide to do something full time, you've got to be ready to sacrifice a lot. But saying all of that, I understand that what I'm saying isn't the only way, because there are always exceptions to the rule. For what we do, everyone here has to be committed 110%. We have two people who work with us, living in the house with us, to make sure that we can get the stuff done that needs to be done. And we will, like, when I'm done with you guys, we're gonna have a meeting, and we're gonna keep working throughout the night. Like, that's just what it takes, and that happens every day of the week. And you have to sacrifice so much. But there are other people who can make it work without it. And so I understand that whatever I say, anyone can come back and say, but you could also do this, and there was this and this and this, because it's the Wild West of platforms, man. Everybody's done something different. Everybody's succeeded in their own way, and they've made their own things happen. And it's wild. Like, I could give all the advice in the world, and then someone's going to overhear, then you're going to have a dude who used to be a cop join a
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto server,
Very
and people are like, "You're really hilarious. You should start your own Twitch stream." He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll do that." And then
It's
he's
like
fucking
anything that's
biggest thing on
viral.
Twitch.
Like, anything that's a meme,
So-
anything that's viral, Twitch is the same way. You just never know what's going to be that one thing that grabs on and takes off, and it's so hard to emulate that. It's impossible to emulate that. Nobody figures out like, I'm going to make a viral video and it's going to work out for me. It just happens. These things just happen. You know, it's so hard to emulate that.
There's practices, you know.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
When I used to work for
increase your
YouTube
likelihood.
companies, there were things that you could do, and there's a lot of things that you can do on Twitch to follow those trends.
Right.
But I don't wanna. And
Right.
like I used to do that game with YouTube and I hated it, you know, and I was doing commercial work too, and it was just like there's a whole industry behind that, you know, and like not everyone will ever work, but you still have to like look at the trends, look at the spreadsheets, look at the analytics, and figure out what you're gonna do. And there are people who game that part of Twitch really, really well. And we decided as a company, okay, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna forge our own path for better or worse. And sometimes I heavily regret that decision.
Right.
Not like real regret, more like, oh my fucking God, what am I doing here? But I'm happy we did that decision and have stuck to our guns. But it also means that it's on us too.
Right.
Like if it fails, we tried it, we worked our hardest, we did what we could, and the platform didn't want it, and that's not what happened. So there are ways you can emulate, you know, and look at other people that have done what you guys have done and copy some tactics that work really, really, really well.
Absolutely, and we've even had that. You know, we've had the discussion, and it's almost the consistent one for the internet and anything. You know, should we have a female more on the show?
Right,
like
yeah.
that. Like when Kristen was on, you know, especially we even got the negativity. Oh, she doesn't know anything about games. Yeah, but she loves Drew. She loves being around Drew. I'm a good friend with Kristen, so it's fun to be around her. You know, in conversations. But could we exploit that? Could we get another female on there? Could we use Kristen more? Could we, you know, and all these things? No, we don't want to do that. You know, even recommendations for other people. You know, when we put our stuff out there, like, hey, look at our channel. What recommendations do you have? Oh, you should definitely have a female. Yes, that would be ideal. If I had a friend that was into gaming, that I enjoyed talking with, that was conversational, that it was fun, and I enjoyed being around, I would absolutely bring her on the show. But I do not have that, and I don't want to force it. Forcing it doesn't...
Well, yeah, and I think, and that's something I would say too, is like, you know, Small Fry in the chat room, I know, saying like, having diversity is good, but having diversity for diversity's sake is is a line that's very difficult, because it depends on what you're doing. You know, like as a media company, diversity for diversity's sake shouldn't happen if you're doing it right. But if it's not happening at all, then yeah, you should do it. But it's an interesting kind of scenario, you know. Like we ran into this problem when we were in Seattle with the studio. Like Seattle's not a very diverse city. And that created a lot of problems for me, because I do have very strict rules on who's on camera, and you know, if we don't have diverse representations on my channel, I get really upset. But Seattle was really tough. It was really difficult. And then in Los Angeles, like, oh no, just invite our friends over and we're fine. You know, like that we're covered. You know, because that's our friend base in LA. But it is hard. But I think it's important if that's what you want to be important, because if you force it, it doesn't work, and it will only end up hurting you in the long run if it's forced. You know, like
exactly.
Yeah, that's not a good
One
thing to do.
thing I want to mention to the people, I thought we were pretty clear earlier on, but just in case you guys don't know, Zac is from Hyper RPG. It is twitch.tv/Hyper RPG. Of course, everybody, I think a lot of our people right now are from your channel and from your community, but to anybody that's from our community, definitely, of course, check out Hyper RPG.
I'd say it's probably 50-50.
Yeah, 50-50 right now, maybe. But either way, yeah, of course, follow Hyper RPG, subscribe to Hyper RPG. They're on. God, how often are you guys on? It feels like it's all day.
It's 60 hours. It's 60 hours a week right now. We vary up and down depending on how many employees we have and what we can pull off. But at least we're gonna do. Usually 2 RPGs per night, or 2 larger production streams per night. And what we've done is we've set up a server to where we can have a show up in Seattle while we're getting our show in LA ready, and then when that show's over, we immediately switch down to LA. So that way we can get these things done with a small crew. A lot of what we've done is work on how do we get max results with the lowest amount of people. So we've automated a lot of our systems. We've automated a lot of the things that happen to where there's communication between the chat room and the GM. We've built a lot of back-end programs that automatically update and send information to the GMs on an app on the computer. the whole goal being like, how do we run something that is like top level of quality with 1 or 2 people in the studio, and that's always the challenge and the goal. And it's a stupid goal sometimes, we've learned, because it can be defeating in that sense that if you appear to be really successful, then there's this assumption that you don't need the audience's help and you don't need people, like, you know, so it's like this catch-22 of like, we work so hard on quality and we work so hard on trying to make things really, really, really good and really legit and really high production and all these bells and whistles that people are like, oh, these guys are great, they're fine, you know, they must have a huge thing. And it's like, oh God, no, we're just a couple
Help
people.
us, please.
We're crazy. We're just freaking crazy. But you guys are doing a similar thing.
Oh.
You know, you guys are doing a very similar thing with your, I see the tricks you're using, and these are all really smart tricks of like, you're maximizing 2 people in a room using keyboard shortcuts, multiple outputs, running a slideshow. All these things are like, these are great tricks, and you guys are doing that as well, where you're creating a high value product with very little.
It's a lot of work on the back end, you know, but
oh yeah,
you know,
it's
that's
a lot
the way
of prep
it is.
work. It's a lot of
a lot of prep work. I actually just did a stream last night, and I do it every so often, where I'll actually allow the viewers to watch me make the show, put together all the videos and edit the videos, and sometimes I'll even allow them to like help me out, like what should the poll be for this question, and it allows the viewers to feel like they're actually in a part of creating the Sunday night shows.
I tried doing that a little bit yesterday, actually, because we had some problems with our internet this week, and a couple shows got borked, and you know, we came in low for the week. So I was like, all right, you know, maybe I'll stream me working on a Saturday, and then I realized like how many things are NDA'd, and I'm like, oh fuck,
I can't do anything with this.
I can't. Just watch me edit a video for a couple hours,
It's
because
surprising
I can't show you
how
a lot
well
of
those
these
can
things.
do. Like I was surprised, you know, I started the stream last night. I ended off with, and this probably seems low, but for us, like to have 20 viewers stop in to watch me make a couple videos, I was kind of surprised that, you know, even 20 people wanted to.
It's all relative, man. I've streamed for 20 people for so long, and you know, and that's the thing too, it's all relative. Like, you know, we want to be at 2,000 for every show concurrent, and right now some of our shows are only at 250, and we're freaking out, and we're just like, fuck, what do we do? You know, like we can't sustain our costs at these levels.
I mean, certain channels, and I don't know if I want to name them, but like that their talk show is literally on the front page every single day. Like it's like, how do you get that? Like it's, you know.
And I actually have an answer for Turtle Power Dudes, who's like, I just went to Zac's channel to check out his content. I followed and then went to watch videos of the channel. Won't let you watch on the sub. Is for real? Yes, it is for real, and I'll tell you why. Because our overhead is crazy high. It's crazy high. All of our content's on our YouTube channel for free. If you go to youtube.com/hyperrpg, it's all there for free. But it takes us usually like at least 1 day to upload that content. So we treat our sub videos like, because we're doing high production value content where we pay the actors, we pay the employees, everything we do costs us a shit ton of money to do.
Right.
And we don't have a big overarching company that owns us. So it's all coming out of our own sweat and tears and the audience. So it's a necessity that I wish didn't have to exist. Our long-term goal is to get large enough that we can put this on sponsors. But for the moment, we have to, like, the community is what keeps the channel alive through their contributions. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be able to make the show.
That's something that I've always wrestled with. Like, there's been moments where I wanted to put all of our videos behind subscriber only, like behind the paywall. It's weird.
It's hard
line that you have to.
It's hard. I didn't want to do it. Like, I don't want to do it, because our big thing is our content will always be free. I don't ever want to join some company that puts our content behind a paywall. But that means we upload every single thing. We upload it all to YouTube, so you can watch all the shows on YouTube.
Sure, yeah.
You can like do it. But yeah, like Chum Chum Jim said, Scott Porter ain't cheap. None of them are cheap. Chum Chum Jim, they're all professional actors, and I'm like, I have to pay them. And so there's like certain compromises that have to be made for the content to exist, and that's just the sad truth of running a media company. Like sometimes you think you're gonna be able to do it one way, and then you look at your books at the end of the month, and you're like, fuck, we have to adapt, or we cease to exist. You know?
Yeah.
So you were talking earlier about channels and how they kept saying they were going to add the RPG channel, and they never have. How happy are you that they finally added the social eating channel?
Oh God.
All the things that you need, right? Social eating.
There's been some things that they've added where I'm like, still don't have RPGs, man.
Right.
And I've emailed people like straight up, and I know sometimes they can't stand.
Right.
I know that I probably like have people over there that hate dealing with me because, you know, I do email them things like that sometimes. Where it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, come
This
on.
is your life, though. This is your
I
livelihood.
know, and that's the thing. It's like it's like, yeah, you can tell me these things, but I have, I have employees' bills to pay, and I gotta mouths to feed, and I can't. I have to be a dick sometimes.
Right.
No, I think it totally makes sense. I wish we could talk to you all freaking night, man.
I feel you.
Brain, but unfortunately, I do have to get up in 5 hours for work, and after this, I'm probably going to edit together a few things. Actually,
cool.
Good times,
but right?
It was an
Right.
absolute pleasure having
times.
you on the show.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This is great.
Yeah, this was great. Not even just like having you on for the news stories and whatnot, but just like being able to talk with you about like the nature of Twitch and all that.
We don't normally have a lot of other people that do Twitch stuff, as strongly. Cool. So it's kind of interesting to hear the other side of it. And someone as as much as you Jess and everything like that, to someone that does it as their full-time thing. That is to us a success, because it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of stress, but I mean to do something that you're passionate about is a dream in its own. But
yeah, and I'll take you up on that offer if I can message you privately.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let me know. I really like what you guys are doing, and I appreciate that you guys are just fucking going for it. That's my favorite stuff to see on the internet, is when people just fucking go for it and build a studio in their basement. It's great.
Yeah, right.
Of course, I also want to thank the unbelievable amount of support tonight. Up to 150 viewers and 150 subs. It says
what, 6 new subs, 7 new subs.
Yeah, 6 or 7 new subs. We're up to 82, I think now. So I'm gonna be emailing that guy from Twitch and saying, "What's going on, man? Give me my partner spotlight. I want to say it." And that's partially thanks to you, man. Thank you so much.
No
for
problem,
bringing in the viewers tonight
anytime.
and helping us out. And I hope that we can maybe have you on the show again in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure we can work that out. But thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, and to everybody in the chat, we'll be on throughout the week, of course, with variety game streams, and every Sunday with the Level Up Show.
Yes,
so until next time, take care, and as always, don't forget to level up.